High School Athletic Association football. The St. Xavier Bombers and the Covington Catholic Colonels here from Nippert Stadium. The Bombers kick off and the Colonels return it from their 5-yard line out to the 25, where the stop made on the play by St. Xavier's number 33, Luke Fisher. I'm joined by Ralph Nardini tonight. And Ralph, a new look for the Bombers as they take on a strong Cov-Cath team.
A real new look, Dave. The Bombers come back with only 4 starters off of last year's squad, which is not untypical of St. Xavier High School. Typically, it's a senior-laden team every year. But they've come back, and they really have aspirations to go far this year.
Randy Myers on a 20-yard return there for the Colonels. Penalty flag on the play as one of the Cov-Cath linemen jumped, and it looks like the Bombers will be looking at the Colonels will be looking at a 1st and 15. Ralph, we see number 12, Kyle Callahan, back there in the quarterback position, and our scouting report says the Cov-Cath may really want to throw the ball tonight.
Kyle is an excellent quarterback. He is, if you talk to the coaches, they'll tell you he's the real thing. He's got the arm, he's got the presence. He's not the fastest. The backup quarterback's a little quicker, but he is good on the field.
2 wideouts, handoff inside to number 28. That's going to be a big key for the Bombers. Stopping him is the run there by Wesley Collins, and St. Xavier linebackers converge on the play, and that's what Coach Steve Speck would like to see, is if Wesley gets going, this could prove problems for the Bombers.
They need to stop Collins. Collins is only a junior, but he's a playmaker for this team. The Colonel team plays a tough schedule. They've got St. X, they've got Elder, they play Boone County. They play all the heavy hitters. And
that's why they end up in the state playoffs in Kentucky each year. Number 86, Brett Sutton, a 6'2 sophomore, checks in. Handoff here coming again to Collins. Collins going to juke to the outside, and he got caught from behind by number 52, young Mr. Scheit for the St. Xavier Bombers, and he was lucky to pull him down there as Brad Scheit able to bring down Collins.
One of the keys for St. X this week is against the Colonels is to keep the Colonels from getting around the corners. Scheit plays the middle linebacker spot, but playing that position, his job is to get to the outside to cut him off.
This will bring up about a 3rd down and 6 from the 29-yard line for the Colonels. St. X bringing a blitz from the outside. He slipped. That's going to give Callahan time to throw, but his throw falls on the ground, intended for number 2, Derek Roding, and the defensive play made by number 10, Chad Linz. And so the Colonels are going to have to punt here.
That's part of the St. X defense. Part of their strategy and the way they work game in and game out is to bring people in. Coach Speck, the defensive coordinator, believes in pressure on every play.
Number 8, that will be Elliott Walker. And number 25 on the other side of the field will be Ryan Schmitz. Walker with a great deal of speed, and he will be in the Bomber backfield. Let's see who they're going to kick to. They're bringing it towards Walker, and the punt falls short, and the Colonels are going to have that bounce out of bounds on about the St. Xavier 36-yard line. And Ralph, this will be a new look at the Bombers. Taking over the helm this year for St. Xavier will be junior quarterback Robbie Schoenhoft at 6'5", 225 pounds. He's a load to bring down, and he's got a rifle.
He does. He's got a great arm. He's got speed. He's got the size. And Robbie actually played some receiver last year because he's such a good athlete. They had to get him in, even though he wasn't playing quarterback.
St. Xavier with the most speed they've ever had in recent years, and they'll try to use Lataro Mitchell's along with Spider Thomas and some of the other guys to loosen some teams up. They're going to try to run Walker off tackle, and that play just got busted up early by the Colonels, number 39. That's Alex Fangman in the Bomber backfield.
One of the things about this offensive line for the St. Xavier Bombers, they are returning 4 of 5 starters on the offensive line, and they are big linemen.
3 of them looking at Division I schools and looking at Division I offers, but they better start holding on a little better than that. St. X looking at 2nd 11. 2-step drop. Schoenhoft throws it outside. Play caught on there by number 86. That's Scott Linz. Linz, a 6-foot senior, and he'll take it out to about the 41. And St. X is going to be looking at about a 3rd and maybe 4 or so, Ralph.
Looks like 3rd and 4. One of the things you're going to see from St. X this evening is it looks like they're going to be spreading out the offense a little bit. This is something a little bit new for Rob. but you're going to see a lot of no back.
Kelvin Brown on the left side, Keith Thomas on the right side. Walker cuts it back, gets to about midfield, and that's a 9-yard gain and a Bomber first down for Elliott Walker.
One of the things you'll notice about Elliott Walker when he gets the ball, if Elliott gets past the line of scrimmage, you'll see him gain 4, 5, 6 yards. He's big, he's got a low center of gravity, and it really takes something to get Elliott down once he's moving.
So Keith Thomas is going to come our way. On the far sideline is Scott Linz. There's a lot of speed on the outside. Kyle Gibler in at the tight end position. St. Xavier going to jump, and that's going to be a penalty whistled against the Bombers.
And that was Michael Gidio, number 60.
So Guido on the jump there for the Bombers.
You can see on the replay it was just the movement of the defense that drew him off. And again, he is the new person to that line, so it's going to take him a little bit to get going.
Walker going to get the handoff, going to cut through. Elliott Walker gets through the first wave of tacklers there, and Walker will take it down to the Covcath 45-yard line where he's dropped on the play by Adam Spalding. So Walker running well here for St. Xavier. A lot of people thinking the Bombers going to go to their speed early and often, and we'll see how they go to that air attack, as there is a lot here. And I think, Ralph, a young man who's going to come into his own this year is number 88, Kelvin Brown, coming our way, joined by Jeff Lindeman, number 82.
Kelvin is, the coaches are really high on this young man. They're anxious for him to catch some.
He likes to run the slant. They didn't pick up the blitz there. Schoenhoff's going to have to run. Finally finds Spider Thomas, who came all the way across the field, and they're going to rule him out of bounds on the far sideline. So Keith Thomas ran the length of the field. Steve Rasso, not sure he likes that call on the far sidelines, but it'll bring up 3rd and 5 for the Bombers.
One of the things we saw on that play, Dave, was just how strong and how big Robbie Schoenhoff is. He had somebody grab his legs, and he just jerked his legs right out. He wasn't about to be pulled down by one person. He is a strong, tough quarterback, and he's only a junior.
And we know from basketball that he's got some speed. Nice pitch to Walker just at the last moment. He's going to be right near the 40, probably be short of that first down depending on the mark, and should be 4th and less than a yard. And statistically, the Bombers should go for it here, but historically, they've liked to punt in this situation.
I mean, if he's short by less than half of a football length, and the Bombers typically are not the type of team to go on a 4th and inches. That's just not the way Coach Rasso plays his game.
It was an interesting study done that came out this year about coaching and about going for it on 4th down, and you have a better chance of getting the half yard than you do of dropping the ball inside the 10-yard line on a punt by almost over 20%. But it's not traditional football, so let's see what Coach Rasso does here. They've had a great first 2 series running the football, and he may be bringing in the plus with a 6'5", 225-pound quarterback, and with a seasoned offensive line, you got to think St. X is going to go for it here early on.
It would be kind of surprising with their offensive line, 4 returning starters, and that size quarterback, that they would not go for it.
So it's 4th and inches just outside the 40-yard line. I think number 49 has checked into the lineup for the Bombers. That's Greg Ebner, who normally plays linebacker as well as backup fullback. And he's joined back there also by Doug Powers. So they've got 2 fullbacks in front of Walker, and they look like they're going to come straight ahead power. They do, and Elliott Walker gets the first down and 4 more down to the Covcath 36-yard line. That was a power backfield.
That was a power backfield. I guess the question everybody else would ask is why, when you have a returning starting center and a returning starting right guard, you don't just let the quarterback get the ball and go forward. But that was a good play. It picked him up 4 yards, the first down, and Elliott Walker is really moving the ball well.
2 220-pound fullbacks in there, defensive linebackers as well. Checking back in the lineup now is Rick Losing at the fullback position, and again the Bombers running the ball here. We saw this Elder against Winton Woods Thursday night. The Panthers successfully ran the ball all night long, and perhaps the Bombers were looking at that and just trying to wear this down a little bit. In the scrimmage, they waited a while before they started to throw against Chaminade-Julienne as well.
Well, I know on Thursday night with Elder, who typically you would think would be a passing team, really ran the ball, and since that was working, figured why even worry about mistakes when you can just drive it.
And with the big game coming up against Indianapolis Warren Central next week, maybe not show too much of the playbook. Gibbler's open right down the middle of the field. Schoenhoff didn't see him. He's going for Thomas in the end zone. And Spider at 5'4" isn't going to outjump too many people for a ball there. Robbie had Gibbler open over the middle, just couldn't find him. That'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Yeah, Spider Thomas is not the type of person that's going to go one-on-one and outjump anybody for the football. Although he's a great receiver and somebody that can run a quick route.
And if left alone on single coverage, he's going to score a lot this year. Kelvin Brown's coming our way on the far sideline. Spider Thomas along with Scotty Lenz. Jeff Lindemann. Schoenhoff going to roll left, getting a little bit of time. Now he's under a lot of pressure. Breaks through 2, but can't get through 4. Taken down. So the St. Xavier offensive line not doing their job there, and Robbie Schoenhoff gets dropped. It'll now be 4th and about 12. And so after they picked up the first down on the 4th and short call, got to believe that they're going to be looking at a punting situation here.
Well, what they did, Dave, was they brought the outside linebacker around the open tackle on the right side, and that started the whole confusion process. And then with a couple stunts in the middle, they were really in trouble on that.
So Sean Morris, who has returned to St. X this year, there was movement all along that offensive line. Flag a little late in coming, and the Bombers will be backed up 5 yards. That might not be a bad thing, giving Sean a little bit more room down there to work with.
We had everybody on the offensive line moving, it looked like.
I'm not sure who was calling the signals, but he confused us very well. So St. X will get moved back to about the 42-yard line. Morris is now going to have plenty of room in which to get this kickoff. And back deep for the Colonels is Randy Myers, who returned the opening kickoff. See if Sean tries to take it to one side. Yep, he's going for the corner over there. Myers calling for a fair catch on about the 12-yard line, hauls it in. Good job by Morris, good job by Myers. That'll be credited about a 28-yard kick, and the Colonels will start deep in their own territory at the 12-yard line.
That was a great kick by Morris. It's just what they needed to do. He didn't want a chance putting it into the end zone, so he just kind of kicked it up high, kept it short, so that he could get the defense in a good position.
So Kyle Callahan checks back in at quarterback for the Colonels. Number 85 moving out towards us. That's Chris Wise. Collins in the slot back position. Coming across is Derek Roding. Hand off to Collins. He's going to try to go left. Collins got some room to run out there, and he's going to pick up big yardage before he's finally driven out of bounds by the Bombers' number 49, Greg Ebner.
That's one thing that the Bombers are going to have to do. They're going to have to seal off that outside, Dave. Collins will definitely burn them if they can't keep him contained. And that's one thing that I know the defensive staff will go crazy, is if they start losing containment.
Single coverage out wide. Cargill's going to slide over into the slot to help out. Collins going to try to come up the middle. There doesn't look like there's much there. Going to move ahead to about maybe the 29-yard line. Let's see where they're finally going to mark this. It'll be 3rd and less than 1 for the Colonels. Big call coming up here. Dangerous situation for the Bombers if they play against the run. If they let them go up. So Phil Muldoon down for the Bombers right now, along with Michael Combest and Greg Ebner up on that front line. Drew Quinn at one of the linebacker situations, along with Brad Scheidt. Luke Fisher also in at linebacker as the Bombers tighten things. Collins got a hole, and he's got the first down as he crosses easily over the 25-yard line. That'll be more than enough for the Covcath first down. Checking in for the Colonels, number 2 is Derek Roding, and number 16 is Drew Ellison. So Covcath going to the ground game here. This might be an unusual fast first quarter, Ralph, which doesn't normally happen in Bomber football.
No, it doesn't. This is going very quick. Just a lot of grinded out type offense.
So both coaches still probing, trying to see what they can find out here. That's number 35 coming in motion. That's Seth Robinson. There's penalty markers on the play. Let's finish setting that St. Xavier defense for you. Number 10, that's Chad Linz. Number 21, that is Jeffrey Cargile. And number 31 is Bobby Mahoney. So Mahoney, Cargile, Linz with some speed back there for the Bombers. Number 43, that would be Captain Steve Uphouse. And so the defensive secondary is where St. X usually has a lot of good things going on. Tommy Hurley also has checked in for the Bombers, number 22. It's the guys up front and the linebackers who are going to be tested this year. Same formation for the Colonels. Fake handoff to Collins. It's going to try to run up the middle, and there's just absolutely nothing there as St. Xavier held and combined very well from both outsides. Greg Ebner along with number 63, Phil Muldoon. That's just what you want to see done there.
It is. And Dave, what happened was Tommy Hurley was one-on-one coverage with the wide out, and Tommy was on him and looked like he was going to play him tight. The quarterback saw that, but what happened is right before the snap, Tommy came off and played soft, and there was nowhere to go. They were looking for a timing pattern, but it wasn't there.
So 5 Bombers surrounding Kyle Callahan, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 14 for the Colonels. They're going to definitely look in a passing situation here. St. Xavier in the nickel defense. The man open right down the middle of the field, and Callahan threw it just a little bit too long as Drew Ellison had gotten open inside of number 22, Tommy Hurley. Good offensive work by the Colonels, and good luck for the Bombers there that Callahan just let it go a little too long.
Ellison was wide open. If he wouldn't have overthrown him, he was trying to lead him. He knew he had him open on the inside, and he just let him too much. Hurley just let himself get beat by a step and a half.
3rd and 14 for the Colonels. St. Xavier dodges a bullet there. Cargile coming over along with Hurley. Mahoney's going to shift this way. Callahan looking. He's got a little bit of room, but he doesn't have enough room. Fumble on the play as Brad Scheit caused the play, and the ball's going to be a big scrum.
I think they're calling the ball dead. I think they're calling the man down on the spot, Dave.
Okay. Brad Scheit made a heck of a bear hug kind of tackle. He just reached out and grabbed Kyle Callahan and literally wrestled him to the ground. Almost.
It indeed looked like a wrestling move. I mean, he looked like he just grabbed him and took him for the takedown.
You'll see that coming up on the replay here as Callahan's going to sprint out of the pocket. Scheit will be the 2nd man into the picture here, and just watch how he lifts him off the ground and then just bear hugs him down. Colonels in punt formation. St. X tried to get in close. Better watch out. That ball's going to stop short. Elliott Walker came up to get it. There's a penalty marker thrown way behind the play, and I'm not sure what Tommy Hurley was doing back there. He may have thrown an illegal block 10 yards behind where the ball was, and that's really incredibly just not a smart play. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, once you're past the ball, there's not really any need to be blocking anybody. And
this could take the Bombers from the 47-yard line all the way back to about the 24-yard line, depending on what the call is here. It's going to be an illegal block by St. Xavier 10 yards behind the ball, and you got to think some coach is going to grab Tommy Hurley and say, son, if this is the way you're going to play, you're going to end up on the bench here.
That's right.
Bad series for that young man.
They'll be finding somebody else to take that spot. Those are the kind of mistakes you can't have against a good team like the Colonels.
So St. X, rather than start in excellent field position out on the 48-yard line, they're going to find themselves all the way back inside their own 30. They had 2 nice first downs and then stalled out at about the 36-yard line of the Colonels, and a penalty dropped them back. Sean Morris made the good punt. Keith Thomas wide to the left side. Number 86 coming our way. That's Scotty Linz. Elliott Walker's in the backfield. Double tight ends on the offensive line. Schoenhoff calling out signals. He's going to hand it to Walker. Elliott's had a nice day running so far, and Elliott Walker's going to bowl ahead all the way out to about the 37-yard line, where a host of Cov-Cav tacklers took him down. And right now, Ralph, it looks like St. X willing to run behind that offensive line, maybe give Robbie Schoenhoff the little chance to calm down here in the game.
It's what it looks like they're trying to do, is just kind of let Robbie kind of work his way in. It's his first start in a game at quarterback. and I think they just want him to start feeling comfortable.
I got to think they're going to send Lataro Mitchell downfield. He's the fastest man on the team. He was being held there, still managed to get away from it. Schoenhoff on the outside play. Great catch by Scotty Lenz. So Lataro Mitchell got tackled on the line. They weren't about to let him go against the linebacker, but that freed up Scotty Lenz for the first down to the 45-yard line for the Bombers. That's an 8-yard play and St. Xavier's third first down.
And Scotty actually catches the ball, has somebody on him, gets past, gets out of the grasp, and gets another 4 or 5 yards. He's a tough young man.
There's a lot of speed that St. Xavier possesses, and you're going to have to either get to the quarterback or really have fast defensive backs, or you're not going to slow him down. Elliott Walker gets it across midfield, so the Bombers for the second time into Covcath territory down at the 47. Let's see how they can keep this drive going. Second down, about 3 yards to go.
The offensive line seems to be starting to get in a rhythm now. I just saw a couple really nice pull blocks on these last couple plays. They look like they're getting more and more comfortable.
Thomas and Lenz check into the lineup. Kelvin Brown's going to come out wide. Kyle Gibler will be at tight end. Schoenhoff going to stay off center this time. Took a while to get that play in. Fake handoff to Walker. Walker delivers a great block. Kyle Gibler had it in his hands and dropped it as Schoenhoff hit him coming right across. Kyle had lots of room to go, just couldn't hang on to the football.
Kyle was right open across the middle on that one, Dave, and that's one of those plays. It should have been first down. It should have been inside the 40-yard line. He was just thinking, let's run the ball before he even caught it. So that's something that experience will come.
He's a young man who really worked his way into the basketball starting lineup. He is definitely seen as one of the leaders of the junior class, and like you said, with experience he'll hang on to those. So instead it brings up a difficult 3rd and 3. They're looking at Walker, and Walker hit the hole right where Covcath blitzed, and now Coach Steve Rasso is going to face a 4th and 3, and it looks like the Bombers are going to have to punt. So a drop pass again. St. X just not able to click it off yet, you know, in consecutive plays. They've certainly shown they can move the ball, but they're going to have to move it for more than just a series or two. Yeah, Sean Moore is back to punt.
They're making mistakes that they can't afford to make against a good Colonel team.
Walker misread that one. He ran right to where the blitz was coming. Nice high punt by Sean Morris. Fair catch going to be called for and taken just inside the 10-yard line. So Randy Myers, he knows exactly what to do back there. Plants himself and knows if it's in there, catch it, don't drop it, and whatever you do, don't let it bounce and let them get you real deep in your own territory.
This is going to be a breaking series for the defense. They need to make something happen here. It seems like the offense is struggling, and typically a St. X Bomber program, the defense kind of helps get the offense jump started.
Drew Ellison is going to come our way. Chris Wise going to be the far split out. Callahan's still calling out signals. The Colonels love to send men in motion, and then that's the play they love to do, and that's exactly what St. Xavier wanted to do as number 49 and number 63 for the Bombers, Greg Ebner and Phil Muldoon, dropped him in the backfield, so nowhere to go for Wesley Collins there.
No, that was, you had your nose man and your defensive tackle both get through. They stayed just 2 yards in, and they just made the tackle.
And that will free up the defensive secondary that we were talking about to put that good man-on-man coverage on. Hurley, that's going to be the end of the first quarter. So that was a very, very fair first quarter here at Nippert Stadium as the score, the St. Xavier Bombers 0 and the Covington Catholic Colonels 0. And Ralph, your thoughts on that first quarter?
I think Covington Catholic is playing very good football. They seem to be playing pretty mistake-free football. They haven't driven on the Bombers yet. They haven't done anything, but they're not shooting themselves in the foot, where I think the Bombers have made some mistakes that are really starting to hurt them. The drop pass, it should have been the first down in this last series here that would have kept the drive alive. And again, you know, both teams, this is their first, well, actually for St. X it's their first game. I think Covcath started last week. I think Kentucky football started last week. So the Bombers just need to get in the swing of things. This is really the first time out for them.
We saw this last year, St. X against a fired-up Sycamore Aviator ball club. And Sean Fitzgibbons had the game of his life against St. X, and the Bombers squeaked one by, coming out of there and taking nothing away from Covington Catholic. They've come out and they've played typical Colonel football, very basic, very hard-nosed football. They're going to make you beat them. And St. X just seems, like you said, they've got a quarter under their belt. Now they need to step it up. Historically, if you're going to beat the Bombers, week 1, 2, and 3 are good weeks to beat them. After that, they have a pretty darn good record the past 15 years.
That's right. That's what St. X, that's what the Bombers have done year in and year out. Once they get moving into the season, they just keep getting better and better and better.
So back on the backside for the Colonels, back in the backfield is Kyle Callahan. Callahan looking, he's got a man wide open who came across, but St. Xavier stayed home. Number 21, Jeffrey Cargile, and number 22 on the play, Tommy Hurley. So Hurley and Cargile doing a great job there as Derek Rodig came all the way across. And that's going to be no gain, and it's going to be about third and about 11 to go for the Colonels from just inside their 10-yard line. St. X would love to make Covcath punt from the end zone here and then get a nice scoring drive going. Callahan looking, big rush on. They missed him inside. Combest misses, but there's number 52. Great play for the Bombers as Bradley Scheit came up to stop Callahan on about the 14-yard line. Now let's see what St. X can do, because I think the big play, Ralph, in the Moeller game against Anderson, which the Anderson Redskins looked superb in that game. Moeller 1st and 10 on the Anderson 28-yard line, and they could not do anything. They ended up only making it to the 21. And from there, they had a 6-0 lead, and they went on to get shut out the rest of the way in a loss to Coach Vince Suriano's Anderson Redskins, who looked awesome. So St. Xavier's got a chance for good field position here, and they cannot blow this opportunity against the Colonels. Bad snap. Bombers coming. Just couldn't get there. He stretched out a long way, and this time with the punt short, St. X falls away from it. So the Bombers are going to pick up the ball at about the Colonels' 47-yard line. A nice punt on the play there by number 11, as that was a bad snap, but Drew Fahey did a good job to get that one off. That's about a 38-yard punt under difficult circumstances.
And as you said, Dave, I mean, even though it was a good punt, St. X now has the ball inside their opponent's 50-yard line. They need to move the ball. They need to make a statement here that, yes, we've come, we're going to play. We're the real thing.
Trips to this side, Kelvin Brown to the other side. So something really exciting can happen here when the Bombers have this many guys, if they indeed go into a passing situation. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try to hit Thomas. Nice pass. Oh, they're going to call a holding block on there, but a nice block on the play by the Bombers as Thomas tried to come around, and St. Xavier's going to have this one go back. I think they're going to get called for holding.
I think they're going to call a hold on Scott Lenz. He was one of the trips out to the left side, and I think when he hooked his man, the official saw it as a hold.
So the ball is going to be taken back now on the Bombers, and they should end up. They've been in Covcath territory all night long. Every possession they've had the ball, they've been across the 50-yard line, so they're going to have to start from their 47-yard line, and St. X is going to look at first and about 17.
Yeah, the upside to that was the hold was down the field a little bit, so the net loss is not near as bad as having it behind the line of scrimmage.
Again, these are just the little things, Ralph, that we talked about that they're not going to be able to continue to do. Schoenhoff going to carry the ball here. He's a load to bring down as Robbie Schoenhoff picks up about 7 yards on the play, takes it to the 47-yard line. On the sidelines here, warming up for the Colonels will be their regular starting quarterback, number 10, Grant Gronick, as Callahan started the game today, but Gronick was the guy we saw in the scouting reports and in the earlier game for the Colonels, so we may see a new-look Covcath offense the next time they take the field.
I'll tell you, that last play, you could tell Schoenhoff's a player. He ran over his own center, Brad Ralph, and knocked him down as he was knocking down the Covcath players.
And Brad Ralph's no small boy to knock out of the way. Walker going to take it. Walker trying to cut back. Breaks one tackle. Breaks two. Elliott Walker bowls ahead. Breaks three. If he can stay on his feet, he's going to go all the way.
Gone. That's what St. X needed. That was the spark that they needed. That run by Elliott Walker was one of the best runs I think I've seen in a long time.
That is his best career run, and like you say, that kind of reminds you of Luke Lenz, of people just bouncing off of him last year. You'll see it on the replay here. Walker's going to cut back. He's going to break this first tackle here, and then he'll break 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gone. Keeping his balance, Elliott Walker, 46 yards on the carry and a 6-0 St. Xavier lead. We have a timeout on the field, as Covcath may have had too many men on the field.
Dave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They had 12 people out there. The officials called it.
So Ryan Casey will check in to attempt the extra point. Bombers kicking this year is not one of the ones that St. Xavier worries about too much. Casey had a lot going last year before he got injured, came back at the end of the season, and they expect a lot out of this young man. Ball's down, kick is up, looks like it splits it here, and with 9:11 remaining, perhaps that will wake the Bombers from the doldrums. A great run by Elliott Walker to give St. X a 7-0 lead. And let's see though if Covcath brings in number 10 Grant Gronick to try to turn this around. Well, Ralph, you called it. They needed a big play, and it was right there. The coaches must be seeing something, though. If they're continuing to call that run and letting Walker read the holes, they must be seeing something that we're missing.
They must see something. I'm guessing the way the linebackers and the defensive backs are setting up. I know the coaches, they feel like if they can cut off a linebacker pursuit, they can break a hole open. They'll get 5-10 yards at a pop. So they're seeing something out there defensively for Covcath that they like to run against.
Well, Randy Myers and Mike Mitchell will check back for the Colonels. Myers has brought back all the punts and all the kickoffs. The Bombers lining this one up here, and kicking off for St. Xavier looks like number 19, John Milligan. So Milligan, the place kicker tonight, Casey, the field goal kicker, and Morris, the punter.
Well, again, Dave, they almost started with 10 on the return team. Number 89 for Covcath just barely made it out in time.
Milligan's got some height to this one. He punts him right to the middle of the field. That one went to the 6. Nice hole there, breaks open. If he cuts back, he's got some room, but good pursuit by the Bombers. I'll tell you, he's a tough runner to bring down, is that Randy Myers, as he brings it out to the 25-yard line. So he's had 2 returns of 22 yards and 20 yards. And he almost broke that one back, but good pursuit by the Bombers.
He did, Dave, and it looked for a minute like some of the Bombers had lost their lanes on that, but they didn't, and that's what kept him from breaking that one loose.
Greg Ebner doing a good job after the initial wave. He got an initial hit in, but then didn't go down and came back. St. Xavier front 3 has played well so far. Covcath has switched quarterbacks, and I thought they'd go to that passing attack, which is exactly what they do. And Thomas Hurley drives out number 16, Drew Ellison, as Grant Gronick, number 10, checked into the lineup. So he's the guy we saw in the films. And
Gronick is he's the passer. He's not as quick on his feet, and that's probably why they started off the way they did. But he is a better passer and probably the better field general for this team.
And it's a difficult thing in high school ball to defend against the pass. Well, there's a break right up the middle, and the Colonels are coming right back at St. Xavier as Wesley Collins got a huge break up the middle, brings it out to the 43-yard line. And that's a heck of a run for the Colonels there, as St. Xavier finally able to bring it down here. There were a lot of men out in coverage, Ralph, and Collins just got a nice lane right up the middle. And finally, number 10, Chad Lenz, went back to knock him down for the Bombers.
It looked like somebody took Ebner to a side and shielded Scheit and opened it up.
Gronick back in there. Great play on the play by number 31 for the Bombers, Bobby Mahoney. Mahoney timed it just right.
Bobby Mahoney is probably one of the better defensive backs that they've had in this program for a while. This past year has just gotten bigger and has just really turned into a player.
He's got tremendous speed. He's 6'1", 185. He can take people one-on-one. So the Colonels with 4 receivers out, St. Xavier with 5 men to cover them. Fake to Collins. Gronick going to run. Gronick's got a little bit of room. Scheit steps over to knock him down on about the 50-yard line. Also joining in on the play was number 43, Steve Uphouse. So Uphouse gets in on the play for the Bombers along with Scheit. That'll bring up about a 3rd and 4. Nice fake by Gronick.
That was an excellent fake by Gronick. I don't think he gets his 7 yards if he doesn't fake as well as he did.
Chris Wise checks into the lineup. Derek Roding going to be out here with Wise on this side. Doubles to both side, handoff to Collins, and this time Collins has nowhere to go as the Bombers saw that one coming. And Covcath loves to run that, Ralph, and number 46 getting in there for St. X, making the tackle on the play. Drew Quinn held his ground, but I think the Bombers are starting to figure out which way Collins likes to go, and that's important because if he gets that first step.
It's very important. They had Phil Muldoon that time. It looked like he slanted to the hole that Collins was running to, and that was the stop. That's what made him have to pull up, and that's what gave St. X a chance to get him down.
Elliott Walker, Ryan Schmitz, the Bombers. Oh, Covcath going to hup this one short. St. X got caught in a defensive situation, and the Colonel's going to take it all the way to the 40-yard line, as that was a great run by number 16, Drew Ellison. So the Bombers with 2 men back and double. The Colonels had 2 men doubled on the far side. They ran off their tackle, and that was a great call by Covcath.
No, excellent call. They caught St. X napping. They weren't even thinking fake punt. That's one of those things that you practice your special teams every week, and you tell people to be ready and be awake for that, but not to be.
Executed perfectly, and that's why this team oftentimes ends up in the playoffs. But that play there, smelled out by the Bombers. Thomas Hurley on the tackle, but the play was really made by number 46 coming in for the Bombers. Drew Quinn, as he came right in on quarterback Grant Gronick. Gronick got it off, but it's going to be a loss of a yard. He stood in there well.
Drew came off the edge. He was playing that outside linebacker defensive end position, and he came on a snap off that edge, and there was nobody to touch him.
Brett Sutton is checked into the lineup, so 86 is Sutton, 82 is Jeff Dries. And when they play 2 tight ends, they spread them both out. So this is a difficult formation to cover for a lot of teams. Gronick reads the field well, and St. X did not read that play well, as number 16, Drew Ellison, came open. Ellison got the first down on the punt run, and he got right around Thomas Hurley, and he gets down to about the 25-yard line, where it's going to be a 1st and 10 for the Colonels. So underneath Grant Gronick, Covcath coming right back as St. Xavier had blown coverage there.
That was a great open field tackle by Jeff Cargile. He saved a touchdown. It was one-on-one once he beat Hurley, and Cargile really stepped up and made something happen.
Well, equipment problem for Jeff Cargile on the sideline, so checking in for the Bombers will be number 25, Ryan Schmitz. And this will be an important stand here for the Bombers with 6:10 remaining in the second quarter as they hold a 7-0 lead.
It's the defense now. Cargile will be out for this play while he gets his equipment fixed. So they'll still go with their, it looks like their cover 2 defense right now.
Nice fake inside. Gronick going to pass over the middle. Ellison's wide open, and the Bombers cannot cover number 16, Drew Ellison. Schmitz made the tackle along with Chad Linz, but that play is going to carry all the way down to the 12-yard line, where it'll be a Colonel first down. And Covcath just eating up yardage here as Gronick and Ellison have proven they can come together. This would be a big win for either one of these teams in terms of playoff points. For St. X, Covcath normally wins 8 games, 7, 8 games. It'd be huge points for them. But right now, this one's still very, very much a lot of football to play here. Nice fake by Gronick. He's going to run. Gronick going to come around the end. Touchdown, Covcath.
Wow. That was
Grant Gronick on the run. There is a I think they're going to call the ball down. A whistle blew out in the middle of the field because I think the official thought that the other runner had the ball, and they're going to call this one down.
Well, you know, I was wondering why on the field, I was wondering why number 31, Bobby Mahoney, just didn't do anything. He watched Gronick run. He didn't even move.
That play was so well developed that everybody thought that number 28, Wesley Collins, had it. And when Collins went down, they blew that play dead. Now maybe they're just going to bring it back and run it all over again. They may have said that the clock didn't start. Rasso, both coaches looking for an explanation here. That ball's on the 11-yard line. This may be a while before they sort this one out.
My only guess is that they blew the whistle, and that ends the play. Whether it's ended or not, a whistle blowing ends the play.
So head coach Lynn Ray talking to the head official there. But I'm wondering why they still have first down up then if they blew the play dead. Or maybe the official standing in the middle, maybe they huffed the ball before he said they were allowed to huff the ball. That might be the other side of the story. I mean, that's the only two things I can look at. They're not setting any time back on the clock. And Steve Rasso is wondering why it's still first down.
I can't figure this one out, Dave. I really can't.
The only thing I can think is that they did not wait for the referee's whistle to blow. And that may have been what happened, because there the whistle blew and then the Bombers jumped offside. So it looks like it's going to be 1st and 5 for the Colonels on about the St. Xavier 7-yard line. 5:26 remaining here in the first half. It's St. Xavier 7, Covington Catholic 0. We're coming to you from Nippert Stadium as part of the Skyline Chili Classic. And this has been a great day of football here at Nippert Stadium, and you're seeing a heck of a way to end it with a large crowd here. Handoff going inside, and the pile's coming backwards, so the Colonels tried to head inside that time with number 33, Sean McGee, and he gets dropped back. We'll be looking at second down and about maybe a little bit more than 3 to go for the first down, so they can still get a first down without getting into the end zone.
It looks like they brought their goal line defense in. I see 2 offensive linemen playing on the defensive line right now, Dave. I see Scott Rouse and Chris Little in there playing defense.
And Brad Scheit's going to call a timeout. It looks like St. X has been a little befuddled ever since that first down play, and rather than have a score go in, they're going to take a timeout because they've got 3. But as you said, the goal line defense did go in, and that means the corners are really going to have to cover well. There you see the Colonel fans. They didn't fear going down 7-0.
No, the Kentucky Colonels are way too experienced. They've been around way too long to let one touchdown bother them. They're going to stay in their game plan. They're going to stay with the mix that they like, and they'll feel comfortable that they can make a score. And right now they're doing it. They're on the 4-yard line.
So Mike Wiles over there on the sideline with head coach Steve Rasso as they're trying to discuss what they best want to do here in this situation. And as you said, it looked like they kind of had a quasi goal line defense in there, and on that last play it worked. It was exactly what they needed. And the Bombers bringing it back. Chris Little and Scott Rouse both checking in on the defensive side of the ball for the Bombers. Covcath in a power situation. Gronick going to look to pass, and that's the way they get around it as they hit their tight end, number 82, on the play, Jeff Dries. So Gronick saw Dries, froze the inside, and unfortunately the Bomber linebackers did not cover as Bobby Mahoney didn't get the right read there, and Covcath scores on a 5-yard pass. So it's the Colonels 6, the Bombers 7.
It looked to me like one of the inside linebackers that time was probably supposed to drop to that area of coverage and didn't get there, Dave.
Gronick holds, extra point attempt, sails through, and the Colonels have tied it up at 7-7. So after St. Xavier scored, Covcath comes back 75 yards behind number 10 quarterback Grant Gronick, who just tore the St. Xavier defensive secondary apart on that drive.
And that's why they talk so highly about Gronick. He might have a young core of receivers and not a whole lot of people back from last year, but he is the quarterback for this team.
And Drew Ellison, as a sophomore, made huge catches on that drive. Unfortunately, it doesn't get any easier next week for the Bombers as they play Louisville Trinity, and they'll be looking at one of the best quarterbacks in the nation in that game. So Gronick might give them a good warm-up about what they're going to be looking at, but they can't worry about next week. Right now they have 4 minutes and 56 seconds left to go here in the second quarter, and then we have the second half of this game. Keith Thomas, number 7, back with number 8, Elliott Walker, both of them possessing great speed. And looking to kick off here is number 19, Michael Awadalia. So Awadalia looking to kick off.
And again, we have a huge series for the Bombers right now. They need to get the ball back, and they need to gain control of this game.
Awadalia's kick is going to drive Thomas back into the end zone. And that's exactly what you want from your kicker. Every head coach knows that's the best thing. No return. And he drove that one a long way. We may want to watch out for that later in the game. That young man has a foot. A long field goal could end up breaking open a very tight 7-7 game.
And in high school football, you cannot run the ball out of the end zone. So once it goes past that line into the end zone, it's a dead ball. So that, yeah, you're right. That's any high school coach wants the ball kicked there, because now it's an 80-yard drive to score.
Schoenhoft will go into shotgun formation. The Bombers with 4 men lined up to the right side. Kyle Gibbler jumps, and these are the kind of mistakes that's 4 times I think the Bombers have jumped already. And so now instead of starting with 1st and 10, you move it back to 1st and 15. So Gibbler on the jump there.
Those are the kind of mistakes that St. X cannot have. They can't have them and beat the Colonels, and they can't have them and win GCL games this year. That's for sure.
Tommy Nuri's going to check into the lineup for St. X. St. X sets up the play they set up last time. There it is. He's wide open. If he can get it, he dropped it. Keith Thomas took his eye off the ball. Instead of running, he started waiting as Dominic Randolph threw a perfect strike, and he was so far behind everybody else. And the young man's probably going to learn to keep running and not wait for the ball. We'll see the replay here coming up as it goes over to Randolph. Randolph gets a great block, and pass is just going to come way downfield, and Thomas unfortunately turns sideways instead of keep running. Otherwise that was going to be an 85-yard touchdown play. Handoff to Walker. He's got a lot of room to go across on the cutback, and Elliott Walker gets it out to about the 24. So Ralph, we've seen 2 drops by the Bombers when they were in wide open territory.
And again, they were excellent passes that should have been caught. As you said, Spider quit running. He just did not run.
Handoff to Walker here on 3rd and 6. I find that play a little bit disappointing. It almost seems like they're not trusting their running backs, because now it's going to be 4th and 2, and the Bombers are going to have to punt. That the running backs can stay in there and block, and that the receivers can catch the ball, because the strength of this St. Xavier team is their passing. And so a little disappointment there on that 3rd and 6 call, especially after you ran it the play before.
Yeah, I would have thought that a fake to Elliott Walker and then a nice pass, just a short 1st down pass.
Morris had a nice high punt. And
wow.
That's number 7, Randy Myers, who stayed on his feet. And Myers is finally brought down on the play by number 33, Luke Fisher. So Myers almost got knocked down. And again, it looked like some of the St. Xavier players stopped, but he held his ground, and he takes it all the way back to the Bomber 46-yard line. And now the defense is going to have to come up huge in order to get a defensive stop here against a Colonel team that went 75 yards.
Dave, this is a very, very untypical St. Xavier defense and special teams. I'm not sure we've seen them this loose this early in the season.
Just a little lackadaisical here. Collins on the run. And up front, the Bombers have looked good. Combes, Muldoon, and company up front have done the job as they rack up Collins there. That'll bring up about a 2nd down and 9 to go for the Colonels. And so right now, the momentum in this stadium belongs on the home sideline with the Covington Catholic Colonels, as they have got the emotion going, and St. Xavier still looking like they've got first game jitters.
Yeah, it really seems like, I'll tell you, it seems like the linebacking core just isn't gelling tonight.
Gronick
really
on the run, and Gronick pulled down on the play there as Michael Combes shed his blocker to get Gronick. Otherwise, he had a lot of room to run. It's going to be 3rd down, about 7. This could be an important play for St. X, because that could give them 2 minutes or so to still have time to work on something if they can get a stop here. Chris Wise will check into the lineup.
Yeah, you really don't like to have Combes, who is one of your interior defensive linemen, making a tackle 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. That means your linebackers aren't where they should be.
Gronick in shot formation. The Bombers brought a lot of people, and Gronick laid it right out there as Bobby Mahoney gets beat again. Derek Rodig. So St. Xavier brought about 7 men in and hit Grant Gronick hard on the play. He got it off. Derek Rodig made a great catch on the play, and Bobby Mahoney, whew, Bobby's one of the guys that St. X has to look at.
Bobby Mahoney is one of the defensive backs that they were really, we have a flag in the middle of the field, and they're bringing it back, Dave.
Yeah, I think there was a holding call on the inside.
Now there's 2 things here. Gronick was shaken up on a play. He is not feeling well at all. He was holding his arm, he was holding his stomach. I think he had 3 people at one time take him down. So this was really a double whammy for the Colonels.
And Derek Rodig made a great catch, as you saw on the instant replay there, but this is going to take the ball back to about the 43-yard line for the Colonels. So missed that one in the middle of the field. I'm not sure when that one came down, because I was looking at the quarterback, and he really did get hit hard, and it looks like he's got sort of a soft cast on that right arm, but this kid flat out finds his receivers.
That was probably one of the prettiest passes I think I've seen this weekend at any of these games.
There you go. You see the 3 hits, but look at that. Right on the line, right on the rope, and right into his hands. And Mahoney.
And I got to tell you, Rodig had just an excellent catch.
Perfect route. Plenty of time to throw this one. Pass going to go high. Cargyle goes up to get it.
Does not get it.
And was not able to pull it down. But now St. Xavier going to be in great position, because the Colonels are going to have to punt from about their 32. So instead of looking at a 1st and goal, they're going to have a chance with 1:57 remaining to do. Now, Ralph, this is a little different this year for the Bombers. Last year, St. Xavier lined up with an up back and back, and this year they've got 9 on the line and 2 men back. This is just a little different look for the Bombers in terms of punt return.
Yeah, it is. I don't think they have that one person that they want to get the ball. I think they feel comfortable with both people back there getting the ball.
Oh, that's a great bounce for the Colonels. It looked like it was going to bounce out of bounds on about the 25-yard line. Instead, he hooked it inside, and St. Xavier will be back on their 7-yard line. So it's going to be a long, long way to go for the Bombers here. This might be where they need that Randolph to Thomas pass.
Yeah, they have a minute 45 to drive. What are we going? 93 yards down the field.
The most important thing is they cannot punt from here and let Cov Cath get a field goal to take the lead in at halftime. So St. X is going to try to pick up some yardage. On the other hand, they have to catch the ball here to keep the clock rolling. Lindemann, Thomas looking out this way. Schoenhoff with plenty of time. Oh, he's going to take it out. Lindemann's got him beat. Schoenhoff threw it out of bounds, but once again, the Bomber receivers, once they get the man beat, have to keep running. I mean, it looks like they stop once they get there. Robbie did a good thing. If it wasn't going to be caught by Lindemann, nobody was going to catch it. But he got around his man, and it'll be 2nd down and 10 yards to go. 1:39 remaining.
That was just a little too far over and a little too much out of bounds for Lindemann to get.
Lataro Mitchell checks in the lineup. Now, Ralph, if you want to watch a guy who can go, watch Mitchell. Schoenhoff going to run on the quarterback draw. Schoenhoff fumbles the football. There's a lot going on there, and I think Cov Cath has it. Number 40, yes, came out of there with it, and the Colonels That's exactly what I warned about. St. X could not turn the ball over, and now the Colonels, Adam Spalding coming up with the play there. They'll have first and goal, and St. X could go in at halftime down here, but that's exactly what St. Xavier didn't want.
Dave, I'm not sure why with 2nd and 10 with a minute 30 to go, you're going to run a quarterback draw when you're 93 yards away. I don't quite understand that call, I have to be honest with you.
Especially since Elliott Walker's been doing such a good job. There's a fumble there, and who's going to fall at the Bombers? Are going to fall on it. Whoa! So St. Xavier, there was a mistake on the handoff, and Bobby Mahoney redeems himself by falling on that one.
Wow.
And now 1:23 to go. I'm not sure what's going to happen here, because a lot of times after a Bomber mistake and a mistake like that to come back, if the coaches are going to go conservative and just hand off and go into halftime, or what they're going to do here. But it's kind of been an interesting first quarter. We've seen an offense over the past couple of years run by Jimmy Gruber and Marty Mooney that featured a lot of different actions that are going on. It looks like the Bombers have simplified that offense, but it's really herky-jerky. There does not seem to be a flow to the play calling or to what St. X is doing here. Handoff inside. Good run there by Walker. He'll give them a lot of room to go out to the 9-yard line. And let's see if they call timeout or if they're just going to line up quick. And maybe if they can get a first down, maybe they will try to throw something downfield. So
I think you'll see them throw something, Dave. If they can, I think they're trying to get that first down,
right,
get out there by the 15-yard line. You see the strong setbacks in there.
Walker again going to run, and Walker this time runs into a host of Covcat defenders as he's going to get dropped on the play, and the Bombers will line up now with 3rd and 3. So I think if they'd have got the first down, maybe they would. Covcat's going to call a timeout here. That may help the Bombers. They'll at least get a chance to figure out what play they want to call. But
I'm a little surprised Covcat would call a timeout at this point. You got 41 seconds on the clock. Even if X does not get the first down, they'd have to call another timeout. X is still going to be able to punt the ball. You'd have to assume out close to the 50. I think you help St. X by calling this time.
Right. I think you've given them a chance now to think about what play it is that they want to run. And I guess we're going to have to look at patterns as they develop here early in the year. I know that what they said was that Schoenhoft had a great arm, and it looked early on that they ran the ball well with Walker, but they were throwing very, very well in the scrimmage. And tonight, I'm not exactly sure what's happening. If Covcat's defense is forcing a change in offensive philosophy, but St. X seems to be very herky-jerky in what they're doing. There doesn't seem to be any type of pattern, at least in terms of developing movement of the ball. But maybe that'll change in the second half. A lot of times it takes a while to figure out what the opponents are going to do. But Covcat's played straight-up, solid, head-nose football. And
it seems to me like it almost looks like there's been a certain number of plays scripted for the first half, and they're not going to go off that script. And this is what they're going to go with. They're going to go in at halftime and say, now, what can we do against this defense? That's the way it looks to me.
That could be, because, like, as you said, some of the calls seem a little bit like 1 or 2 plays late. That play the Colonels had picked up perfectly, and that's why they called the timeout as Schoenhoff handed off to Walker. Now, that's Covcat's last timeout. They had to call a timeout to get the man off the field when they had too many men on the field. They've taken 2 timeouts here, and so the Bombers, with the punt here, can put them out on about the 50-yard line if they can corral number 7, Randy Myers. But just like in the Sycamore game, St. X has been outplayed here in this first half, and the momentum is on this Covington Cath sideline. They have to be very happy with how they've played. And you got to think with what they're seeing here, they're going to match up real well against the likes of Moeller and Elder and some of the teams they've scheduled onto their lineup.
Oh, I think definitely, and I'm sure that some of their coaching staff, especially the freshman reserve coaches, will probably here scouting Boone County for the Coleraine game, so they have to feel really good about the rest of their season.
Morris going to really have to get the punt off here, and he did. He did exactly what he needed to do, just get that punt off because they were really coming. Host of Bombers there, and that's exactly what St. X wanted to do.
There was absolutely nobody to block for Randy Myers on that. He caught the ball, and he saw 6 guys, and he had nowhere to go.
With 3 more right behind him. But I do like what he did. Rather than run around and lose more yardage, he said, I'm going to go down and just take time off, not take any more time off the clock, give my team a chance to do something. But, one of the things, too, Ralph, about this Skyline Classic is it forces some teams to play each other that normally wouldn't. And we hope that continues, that teams like Coleraine and Anderson and Covcath will play against the GCL schools, maybe not just in this, but in the regular season as well, and not just here in this tournament. Nice catch on the play by number 2, Derek Roding. So these young receivers, now Roding is one of the seniors for the Colonels, have done a good job. You got to think if they can get about 5 more yards, they may want to kick a field goal if they can get this done. The changing of the sticks. Now St. Xavier is going to call a timeout. They must really be out of sync, because the Colonels can now come over and have time to really develop the play. I thought they were just going to throw the ball down. So the Bombers call a timeout. Maybe not a bad idea. If you're not sure what defense you're in, take your timeout and deal with it.
Well, I think what happened is probably the coaches up in the booth saw something. Even though Gronick was going to throw it down, they saw something they did not like. And their decision was, let's call a timeout and let's get our defense set up. That's at least the 3rd time I remember that they were caught in the middle with nobody to defend the receiver. And Gronick is just too good a quarterback to leave somebody that wide open in the middle.
I have a feeling at halftime they're going to dissect some of these crosses by Derek Rodick and by Drew Ellison, because they are just eating the Bombers up. We'll get our official statistics at halftime, but since Gronick's come into the game, he certainly hasn't missed many passes, and he's got to have close to 100 yards passing by now. So this St. Xavier defense just wants to hold on here for 15 minutes so they can get in to the lineup. Jeff Cargow, number 21, has checked back into the St. Xavier lineup. Now, he was racked up pretty hard. He had a helmet problem, and he was really working on that knee. St. Xavier with nobody in deep formation there. Pass thrown over the middle, and it's incomplete. 10 seconds left here in the first half. So something happened there. I thought they were going to go back into a prevent, and both of the safeties looked at one another and started backpedaling very quickly.
Well, it looked to me like the linebackers were playing zone and the cornerbacks were playing man-to-man. Luckily, I don't think Gronick saw anything, because I think he had some one-on-one coverage that he would have liked down deep.
The Bombers only brought 3 people, and that gave Gronick plenty of time to go. This time they're going to force him out. 5 seconds, 4. Does he get out of bounds? He did with 3 seconds to go, and that's why I thought St. Xavier, I really thought they were going to bring a blitz and drop him deep, because now this is just going to be, I think this is their 4th timeout, unless they waved off that timeout when Covington Catholic had too many men on the field.
I think they took the penalty for too many men and not the timeout.
So that's how they had one left. So this will be a chip shot for number 19, Michael Awadali, the kicker, if he indeed does come out.
I was going to say, this is an interesting decision for Covington Catholic, because I'm not sure I see Aladalia out there as they huddle down on the sideline. It looks to me like they may go for the score.
They're 12 yards out, and if I'm St. X, I'm bringing everybody, because right now the defenders have not figured out the patterns that are being run, and they're being regularly beaten. So I think the way you defeat that is you got to get people up in the lines in the quarterback face and force him to do something he may not want to do.
Yeah, if you give Gronick time, he will find somebody open, and he's proven that. That's what he's done.
And that's what he did there. He found somebody open. He made it go.
I think what you need to look at this time is if St. X has a chance to bring Quinn again off the edge like they did one time earlier when he came in. Oh, wait a minute. They have put Aladalia in to kick.
So Awadali is going to come in. They snuck him in at the last minute. Gronick is going to take the handoff here. Now, Awadali had a very easy time in practice before the game started. St. X has a timeout if they want to freeze him a little bit. Nice snap. Snap is down. Kick is up. Looks good from here. And it is. And so mistakes by the St. Xavier Bombers, and a very fired up Covington Catholic Colonel Ball Club has the Colonels ahead 10-7. And the Bombers will have to head into the locker room knowing that they have been badly beaten statistically, and they're behind by 3 points as the Colonels take a 10-7 lead. We'll be back after these messages on the Waycross Network.
Antes de tratar. Solo tú. No juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego. No hay nada peor que un pobre conejo asustado o un pobre ratón sin casa en que vivir. Si un hermoso bosque es lo que deseas, no juegues con fósforos, no juegues con fuego.
Solo tú puedes prevenir los fuegos forestales.
¡Fuego! One day these rats were playing in the woods.
Well, it's some matches and that's no good.
Listen to smoke before you give it a try.
Only you.
Don't play with matches. Don't play with fire. Cause there's nothing very funny about 3,000 running. Nothing very nice on a homeless mind. So if a gorgeous forest is what you desire, don't play with matches. Don't play with fire.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Fire.
This is the hand that sows the seed, that grows the forest, that drinks from the stream, that hugs the mountain, that gives shape to the wind, that carries the kite, that is flown by the child, that is loved by the woman, that toils at the job, that gives to Earthshare, that supports the hand, that sows the seed.
All life is woven together. How can we choose which environmental cause to support? Earthshare, the workplace giving program, makes it simple by bringing the leading environmental groups together under one umbrella. Support Earthshare, and you support them all, including the hands that sow the seeds and protect the forests and the streams and the children. To learn more, please visit our website.
We're back at the University of Cincinnati, where the St. Xavier Bombers find themselves on the low side of a 10-7 score against the Covington Catholic Colonels here at the Skyline Chili shootout. The Bombers did not look good in the first half. That was the opinion of both Ralph and I. And statistically, though they're close, Cov Cath really had the momentum going in that second quarter. And Ralph, what do you see St. X doing here in the third quarter?
I think the first thing they're going to need to do is defensively, they need to figure out how they're going to defense the pass. Gronick is just too good of a passer. He's too smart back there. They need to figure out a way to handle the receivers and to get pressure on Gronick. That's number one.
And Gronick certainly showed that with his statistics as he went 7 of 10 for 72 yards and really was able to put St. X on the defensive. Some key lapses, a couple drop passes, especially those where they were wide open and could have taken him in for the score. And then the final 2 minutes where St. Xavier fumbled, then Covington Catholic fumbled, then the Bombers were not able to run the clock out or get a first down, and that allowed Cov Cath to move in, get the field goal that puts them up 10-7. It looks like to me, as you said, on both sides of the ball, the Bombers need a lot of improvement. I think they came into this game figuring, okay, I don't think St. X has ever lost in the Skyline Chili Classic. I think they're undefeated coming in here. And I figured they were thinking, well, it's our first week. As you said, the Colonels had a game last week, and it shows they're just a little bit more poised. But on both sides of the ball, offensively, I don't understand the flow yet, but I think we'll see that coming. A lot of times, as we've talked many times, they're looking to see what happens in the first half and then make changes in the second half. I thought for sure with the speed that this team has that they would be allowing Robbie Schoenhoff to stand back there and really let his receivers catch some balls and do some running. And defensively, as you said, our secondary was supposed to be one of the strengths for the Bombers, and it's just been shredded by Gronick.
Yeah, Gronick he's making our secondary look like they're the worst part of our defensive unit, when in fact the scouting report says that should be the stalwart. That's where we should be coming. That's where our strength should come from, is our defensive backfield.
And part of that, I think, too, is, as you were saying, we're going to have to bring more than the front three. So the linebackers are going to have to consistently come on, or we're going to have to bring one of the nickel backs to put some pressure so they just don't get the straight look. Now, St. Xavier will get this opening kickoff, and fortunately last time for the Bombers, number 19, Michael Awadalia, was able to kick it into the end zone, so St. Xavier was not able to use their speed. And they have proven that they can't go a long distance. That the touchdown was when they had good field goal position, or good field position, and Walker took it in. But the Bombers have yet to show in this game, they did in the scrimmage, that they can run off a lot of plays in succession to make a drive work. The other thing, just the intensity, it just does not seem to be there. And this we've talked about this for about the past 2 seasons at least, where the Bombers come out flat in that first quarter. And they just look flat in the whole first half. So we'll see if they can make up for it here. The coaches certainly had some time to talk to them, and they need this victory here. With only 9 games on the schedule, that 10th game they get a percentage of points, and so every time they lose hurts that percentage they can come up with.
Well, Dave, it's as I sit here and look at the team and I watch them come out of their huddle to go to the sideline to get ready to have the receiving team come on the field, I don't see anybody running. I don't see any excitement. I just don't see that enthusiasm from this team. And I didn't see it there. And I would have thought going in at halftime, being down 3 points, that they'd be jumping all over the sideline. I don't see anybody moving over there. They look like they're just getting ready to get in a lounge chair and watch the game. I mean, I am utterly amazed at what I'm seeing on the other side of the sideline.
Well, they're not going to be able to get in the lounge chair with this team the way they move the ball. Keith Thomas, number 7, is on the far sideline. Elliott Walker, who's been a shining light for the Bombers. Elliott carrying the touchdown and doing a lot of the offensive work for St. Xavier, are both deep. And what the Bombers are going to have to do here is really work this out. Now, the St. Xavier coaching staff wanted to talk to the officials out on the field to see what was going on there, and that's been all arranged. And so now Awadalia, who's got the very, very, very strong and accurate leg, ready to kick off, and the Bombers this time, instead of being on the 10-yard line, are on the goal line. Here we go with second half action. This one's going to come down. Thomas is going to be able to step up. No, he's not. He's in the end zone. So Keith Thomas had that back foot in the end zone.
And as we said earlier, that's what a coach wants. His kicker kicks the ball in the end zone, and now it's an 80-yard drive. And Dave, if we use the first half as a yardstick, this isn't good for the Bombers because they're not moving the ball down the field.
If they could come right out here and move it down the field and get fired up, it might be the change they need. But the longer they find themselves behind this Covington Catholic team, the more Covington Catholic's going to get fired up. 4 first down for the Bombers in the first half, 136 yards. Cov Cath with 8 first downs, 140 yards. Handoff to Walker. That's one play that worked well for the Bombers. They'll pick up a few yards there. And they'll look at probably about 2nd and 8. Passing wise, St. Xavier was 3 of 8. Of course, there were quite a few drops in there. Keith Thomas's drop, also Kyle Gibler dropping them when they were both wide open, so they're going to have to hang on to those. Kelvin Brown, let's see if we can get him in the offense split out here. Thomas is in the slot. They're going to fire right away to Thomas, and Thomas just gets smothered on the play. I'm not sure he caught the ball as Schoenhoff just drilled it over there to him.
And he drilled it at his shoestring. So that was a hard catch for Spider Thomas to make over there.
And so the Bombers will now look at 3rd and 7. So if you're trying to get started here, they need a big play. They got a little fired up after Walker had that nice run, and they need to keep that going. And those would be the things that could really help them out here.
Well, Tommy Neri just came in at tight end, and we just had a huge mistake on the offensive line. Somebody came up early, and again, I think it was Tim Bro came up a count early, and that's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Bombers.
So Bro is going to head out of the lineup here. That's the 2nd time he's come up early in today's game, and Phil Muldoon is going to check in for him, and now the Bombers are looking at 3rd and 12. St. Xavier had 6 penalties for 47 yards in the first half. Thomas open over the middle. Schoenhoff waits, fires outside, and there's a great catch. He's off. Can he get one block? Great block on the play.
That might be the only block he needs, Dave.
And that's what he's going to need for the touchdown.
That's what the Bombers needed, Dave.
That is what they needed.
A little excitement.
What a play.
That was a great catch by Scott Lenz.
A 72-yard pass from Robbie Schoenhoff to Scott Lenz, but Tommy Nuri, who we said had just checked into the lineup, put the block. And if we can get the replay up, you'll see it. And now, extra point here, very important for the Bombers, as James Casey will be on the field. Watch Schoenhoff step up, and he fires a bullet to Lenz here on the sidelines, and then Quinn is going to get a block right here, and that's what frees Scott Lenz, as Quinn gave him just what he needed.
That was a great block by number 99, Tommy Nuri. He was able to push that defender into the middle of the field just enough to let Scott Lenz go down.
And Ryan Casey did convert that extra point, so the Bombers with a 4-point lead at 14-10 with 11:04 remaining. But the question you and I still need to have answers is, can they drive? Again, 2 touchdowns, 2 plays.
2 big plays. That's it. No sustained drives.
You're going to win a lot of games with big plays, but now this defense has to feed on that. And this is what we've seen in the past, that St. Xavier Bomber football tradition is that, hey, you get some momentum going, you get some enthusiasm, and then the defense makes a big play, and then you try to go to really get the momentum in your favor with another score. So that certainly woke the crowd up as John Milligan gets ready to kick off here for St. Xavier. Number 7, who's been consistent for Covcath. Randy Myers is back, and he's joined back there by Mike Mitchell. So Mitchell and Myers are back deep. Was talking to some of the media types at halftime, Ralph, and they said that the reason Kyle Callahan started is he beat out Grant Gronick, but then they decided to go to Gronick to change things up and see if something can happen. Myers, who had been trapped deep, breaks it out to the 33-yard line. That's a 25-yard return. And this young man, Randy Myers, has caught a couple passes and now had 3 returns for 22 yards or more.
I'll tell you, he is exciting to have the ball in his hands. Randy Myers just makes stuff happen, and he's only a junior. I mean, that tells you something. Covcath, just year in and year out, Dave, I am amazed at how they just keep coming up with talent every year.
You look at their receivers, and it's juniors and sophomores, and Gronick has been able to find them and work with them. And let's see what goes here. Callahan is back in a quarterback as he hands off to number 28. Fumble! And St. Xavier had it.
Lost it.
Still
lost
loose.
it.
Who's got it?
I'm not sure who's got it.
That fumble has gone.
St. Xavier got it.
16 yards, and unfortunately injured on the play is Wesley Collins as he got drilled. And Mike, he looks like he may, well, we're not going to speculate on his injury, Ralph, but he looks like he really got drilled on the play. And so we'll have to look over there. So St. Xavier picked up the ball on their own 45-yard line. The fumble occurred back on the 45 as Wesley Collins, he got hit from the as he came inside, he got hit by a man he did not see, and then one of his own players fell over him. There you see the hit, and now you see the people going after the ball. 16 yards that ball goes on the fumble, and let's see who finally gets on it. It might be Ebner, 49. Also underneath there on the pile was Hurley, as that ball went from the 44-yard line of the Covington Catholic, 40-yard line of the Colonels, to the 44-yard line of the Bombers. Oh, that's a good sign to see him sitting up, because he really went down hard, Wesley Collins. Well, now we'll see what the offense can do.
Well, again, the St. Xavier offense will now have the ball in relatively good field position. They're on their own 44-yard line.
Great sportsmanship there by everyone in the stands as they were clapping for that young man. Watch the hit here put on by number 43, who strips the ball. And then you see 91, and unfortunately we were watching the ball there, but behind one of the other Colonels falls right on the back of his leg. And I think that what may have been what really shook him up. What's interesting is to see how the staffs work together. It was the St. Xavier trainers and doctors who got out there first, because the Colonels had to come all the way over the field, and I don't think that they saw him down with all the action that was going on. So great job by both teams supporting one another, and we'll hope to see that young man back in. But interesting, Kyle Callahan back in running there for the Colonels to hand off to Collins. So I guess they're trying to look at how they're going to settle a quarterbacking controversy. And
yeah, I was a little surprised at that after Gronick coming in and the job that he did putting points on the board. I'm not sure I quite understand that, but
this was the formation where they threw the ball to Randolph and he threw the ball deep to Thomas, but this time Covcath was ready for it and Schoenhoff threw it through Randolph's hands, and that might have been okay because he had 3 guys around him, so I think they knew what was coming there.
Yeah, I think they did. You know, but it looks like...
But it was good. It keeps them on a little bit loose there.
Well, it almost looks like that's not a trick play for St. X. It looks like that might be a play that they plan on doing.
Lynn's in the slot, late handoff to Walker. Walker making things happen. He'll get up to about the 50-yard line, and that'll split the difference, make it about 3rd down and 5. So the St. Xavier receiving corps tonight, I know you're probably getting confused with all the names we're talking, but basically you're looking at number 82, Jeff Lindemann, number 86, Scott Lenz, number 88, Kelvin Brown, and Keith Thomas. Kyle Gibler and Tommy Nuri are the tight ends. Whoa, there was a miscommunication there. Schoenhoff thought he had Thomas open right over the middle, and Thomas curled outside. Pass falls incomplete. 3 and out for the Bombers. A good punt here by Sean Morris should keep the Colonels backed up.
Yeah,
but boy, that could have been a really big series if they could have taken it down and at least got a field goal out of that.
I think Robbie thought that Spider was going to do a post, and Spider thought he was supposed to do a sideline, and I think Spider had his man beat either way.
Right.
So that was a shame on that one.
First game jitters. Nice snap back. Morris gets a nice high punt. Now when we can get him to angle it one way or the other, he kicked it right at the number 7, Randy Myers. And I'll tell you what, it looks like it takes the Bombers 6 guys to get him down. Hurley was down there. Ebner was down there. Also in on the play was Doug Powers. Checking in also for the Bombers was Adam Erskine. So lots of Bombers, but Myers is the kind of guy you need to surround. And Kyle Callahan will check back in for the Colonels. It may be they're going to rotate quarters.
That's the way it looks right now. I guess if I'm Covington Catholic coach, I'm probably wondering, well, how long am I going to do that? I know Lynn Ray probably wants to see some things, but he also wants to win tonight.
And they've played well so far. Oh, coming off the corner for the Bombers was number 46, Drew Quinn. And I'll tell you, people really expect a lot out of this young man.
Drew,
a junior. I mean, they're kind of comparing him with some of the greats of the past. Heisman, Vogley.
We were saying earlier that the Bombers needed to put some pressure, and that's what Quinn's in there to do, is to come off that end and to bring that pressure quickly.
Good sign for the Bombers. J.T. Emming is checking back into the lineup. Emming had some problems earlier. It looks like Lenz is going to blitz here. They're not going to be able to pick him up, but Covcath called an audible, but Lenz still makes the tackle. Now that's just a great play by number 10, Chad Lenz. I'll tell you what, there's a young man they called an audible to get away because they saw him coming up and he was there. And
Chad actually, he went in and tackled the running back because he was in front of the quarterback, came off of him and grabbed the quarterback's legs. It was a great play.
You pick that up there on the replay, and it looks like this defense that got shredded in that second quarter has decided they're going to come out, because if they can stop them here deep, again, the Bombers will get good field position. And so much of this first week is about momentum. Emming coming across. Could be a first down. No. Great tackle on the play by number 21, Jeff Cargile, in the open field as he pulls down number 82, Jeff Dries. So Callahan made a nice lead pass to Dries, but that's Cargile's 3rd open field tackle.
It is. And again, we saw not just the 3 interior linemen coming on a rush that time. They also brought somebody off the end. He got blocked, but it was just a little bit more pressure coming in on the quarterback.
Different look here, Ralph. The Bombers may be going to block this one. They got 10 men on the line and they got 2 men in the slot. So look to see if they try to split and get one of the speedy guys going. Walker's back on the 50, or do they peel off? They're going to peel off. They hid that one nicely. And Walker's going to have a couple blockers here. Myers is there. I'll tell you what, Hurley, I don't know what he's doing. You know, this is the 3rd time on a punt that Thomas Hurley better figure out what the heck he is supposed to do, as he has almost run back into the ball twice now. He had the bad penalty 10 yards behind, and Elliott Walker, being the senior, kind of yelled at him there. saying, hey, look, if I call you off the ball, get off the ball. Because Myers did the right thing. He pushed Hurley right at the football, figuring if it hits him, I can get it.
And Elliott, as you said, Elliott knew what he was doing. He knew it wasn't a catchable ball. He ran past it, which is what you're supposed to see. The blockers can't look at the ball, but they have to see what their other man's doing and listen to him.
Walker in the backfield, Schoenhoft under, straight handoff to Elliott Walker. He got one tackle broken there, and then he just bowls over to get to the 44-yard line. It looks like Kelvin Brown, Ralph, may have to limp off here. He was blocking 2 men, and he went down hard. So Elliott Walker takes it all the way up to the 44-yard line. That's a first down. The Bombers almost look like they're trying to do sort of a at least it was there for 2 plays. It looks like they were going to do a quick huddle, as I noticed that the linemen get the call from Schoenhoft, and then the receivers and Elliott Walker in the backfield got the call from the man coming in. So that's one way to take some of the pressure off Schoenhoft. Walker tried to get across, and he was cut down from behind by Eric Spencer. Spencer huge off the line there and caught a quick sneaky back for a 2-yard loss.
Yeah, Spencer came in and he split the offensive line to get through, but that play looked like it took just too long to materialize.
Tommy Nuri checking into the lineup. Kelvin Brown, Keith Thomas, Lataro Mitchell, Scotty Linz, and Elliott Walker in the backfield. So we'll try to get all these new names for you. Walker found a hole and tripped over one of his own linemen. Wow. That young man is explosive as he gets down to just inside the 40, and that'll make it 3rd and about an important 5. And this would be a huge pickup here for the Bombers, because if they can keep moving ahead, it will put Covcath 2 scores down, and that's the kind of lead St. Xavier leads. But Covington Catholic has had a stiff back. When they've been put up against the wall, they've shown good so far.
Their 3rd down.
Watch Mitchell in the slot. Oh, he did a nice run through the middle, but no blocking up front, and Schoenhoft is going to get dropped way back on the 50-yard line. I'll tell you, the offensive line, which is the supposed strength here, has got to protect their quarterback. They are not picking up the blitz at all because the receivers came wide open.
They let everybody in on that one. That was just a complete breakdown by the offensive line. We can't see it on the replay what happens. I'm sure there was some stunning going on and some blitzing, but you need to be able to pick up the defense a little better than that.
Now Quinn's going to have to punt to the dangerous Randy Myers. Nice high punt, and Myers going to take a fair catch this time on the 11. And again, Covcath will be deep in their own territory because of the work of Sean Morris. Robbie came left that time, Ralph, and came into 3 guys. I almost thought if he went right, it's a little easier for him to throw going to the right. But like you said, with everybody coming, he's just got to make an instant decision.
Yeah, you have to decide quick. When you see that many people and they're coming through, you got to decide the quickest way for you to get out of trouble. The bad thing that time was there was no quick way.
So the Colonels down 14-10 with 5:47 remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Kyle Callahan at the quarterback situation for them, and will pick up the new running back as Collins did not come in. Pass over the middle looking for Derek Rodig, falls incomplete. And so Rodig had come open over the middle, but I think had Rodig caught it, it could have been real trouble because the Bombers had double coverage on him. That time it looked like they knew exactly where he was going, and both safeties were there.
It looked like the defensive backfield was well aware of what they wanted to do that time. They actually looked like it looks like their coverage this half so far is much better. So they must have made some good adjustments at halftime.
Or we'll see what happens when Gronick gets in there. The other thing was Callahan had no time at all on that play to throw the ball. Callahan on the run here, he might be very close to the first down as Cargill had to come up and get him. So he dropped a fake in there to the new running back.
That was an excellent fake.
And Callahan came right out. Well, we said that he could run, and we knew that, and he faked it into Joe Smith, and you'll see him coming around the end here as Callahan picks it up, and then Cargill finally finds the sidelines over there to bump him out of bounds along with number 46 Drew Quinn. So 3rd and an important one, and Wesley Collins is not in the game, and so let's see who they'll hand off to here. maybe they'll just let Collins, who's a big kid, run behind that center. St. X guesses right, but great search by the Colonels, and that's definitely enough for a Cov-Cath first down. St. X tried to hit that hole, but unfortunately Covington Catholic, their men stayed low, and Sean McGee, a running back linebacker, was able to get the first down up to the 23-yard line. So the Colonels will not be stuck way back on their own 10. At least they've got the ball for 4 more downs here and see what they can do. Wise is split out far to the left. Ellison, who had 3 catches in the first half for over 30 yards, split our way. Quinn looks like he wants to come in against Rodig. Quinn does. Nice handoff inside to number 48, Joe Smith, and Smith will go ahead. It's almost, I think, St. Xavier's defense, Ralph, wants to have the other team run on them. They'll give you 3, maybe 4 yards, but the defense seems to say, we'll give you a few, but we know our down linemen, our linebackers can cover the run significantly well.
Right, yeah. St. X would rather have them run on them. They put in a little bit different personnel now. They have Ryan Young, who was playing one of the down inside men instead of Ebner right now. Quinn's starting to come off the edge once in a while. They're trying to get him to run.
Emig came, Scheidt came. Pass was again completed by Callahan as he gets it up to number 82, Jeff Dries, and Dries will take it out to about the 32-yard line, which will give them another 3rd and 1. The Bombers are doing things well, but when you're playing a good team, they're going to convert as well. So Callahan showing what he has there as he threw a bullet pass right where he needed to, and Cargyle again makes the good stop on the play.
That was an excellent pass over the middle. It's amazing to me that they have 2 quarterbacks, and again, I think Gronick is doing a better job tonight, but Callahan is really stepping up.
He's led a good drive here. This is McGee, who got the call last time, and McGee's going to take it out to at least the 34, and that's enough for another Cov-Cath first down. You know, I made the comment, it seems like whenever the Colonels get their back against the wall, they just get tougher and get that stiff back, and 2 3rd down and 1s, and they've blown the Bombers off the ball, and they're keeping that clock moving.
They are, and that was a great play. Phil Muldoon for the Bombers was right there to make the play, but it was a 3rd and 1, and he can't do it all by himself.
First down, 10 yards to go for Covington Catholic. They've got 2 first downs on this drive as Kyle Callahan trying to move them down the field. Callahan looking. Bombers were not able to keep their lane. He throws it up, and a nice catch made by Ellison. St. Xavier went for the interception. Ellison saved his route, and Cargyle had to make a touchdown-saving tackle at midfield. That's going to be a pickup of 16 yards and another Covington Catholic first down. The Colonels have proven they can drive, Ralph. Where the Bombers have had the 2-play quick scores, the Colonels have proven they can drive.
They are, and again, we see a little shakeup on the defense now. We see Chris Little in at one of the down linemen. Chris is starting tackle on the offensive line. Fumble.
Did the whistle blow or not? We're going to see what they say, and they're going to say that he's down. So again, big hits by the Bombers. Cargyle smart to fall on that fumble, but a huge hit put on there by Drew Quinn, causing that ball to come loose, but that's a 4-yard pickup, and it'll be 2nd down, 6 yards to go. That's such a difficult call to make. Oh, that ball was definitely out. When you see the replay there, whoa, you can see he's nowhere near down.
Yeah, the hit actually forced the ball out.
So Cov-Cath got a break there as well. The referee was blinded on the play because he was behind it, so he couldn't see. But the ball definitely came out there, so the Bombers unlucky on that play. Nice fake by Callahan, going to pass. And again, Callahan looked for Rodig. He just didn't have time. And it looks like the St. Xavier coaching staff is blitzing a lot more as Combes came through along with some linebacker help. And right now, I'm not sure I'd want to be back there in that Cov-Cath backfield. St. Xavier bringing everybody.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a lot more pressure this half from the defense. But again, Cov-Cath is moving the ball down the field. They started way down by their own, 15-yard line or so. And they're now in St. X territory. It's 3rd and about 6.
They've completed 3 third down plays in this drive. Callahan looking. He's under trouble and gets taken down from behind. On the play for the Bombers, number 63, Phil Muldoon. And this young man, who did not get a lot of playing time last year, Ralph, has come up huge in his first game. He's played on the offensive line, and he's made a couple tackles here defensively. Phil Muldoon.
Well, you talk about, I mean, Phil Muldoon has played some offensive line today. On that play there, he had Chris Little, who is an offensive lineman, and playing defensive line with him. So I think you're seeing the coaching staff put in what they feel are best athletes for a play.
We've talked about that a lot, that the first row, there was a lot of movement.
That looked
on
like
both
a lot of movement.
there. Whoa. That punt's still going to go off, and even the players look like they didn't want to come near it, and that ball's going to be dropped dead on about the 7 or 8 yard line.
That almost looked like a blockable punt. I'm not sure.
Cargyle pulled off of it there, I think.
And Latara Mitchell was also
pulled
in there.
off of it. Mitchell really went in quickly, but there was a lot of movement on that play on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
Both sides of the ball. So it'll be first down and 10 yards to go for the Bombers. They're on their 7 yard line, and they do not want to allow Covington Catholic a short drive, so it would be good for them to get a few first downs here, grind up some of this clock, and see what they can do.
We're coming towards the end of the third quarter, so they really need to manage the ball a little right now.
Looks like the Bombers got gone with a completely new backfield there, and they have. That's breaking 1 tackle, breaking 2, and cutting up to the 20 yard line, and that'll be a first down for St. Xavier. Rick Losing was in the block, and number 23, excuse me, Matt Feldhaus.
Dave, I don't know if we'll see it on the
running
replay
back
here, but the Bombers have put in number 75, Joe Hauser, at guard, at left guard, and you can see him right there. He just crossed the screen. One of the reasons that he could cut back on that is Joe Hauser took his man and drove him into the ground. What a block.
So Losing in at fullback, and now that again is Feldhaus, and Feldhaus gets a huge push straight forward there by number 77, Nick Byer, and Byer blew him ahead for about 3 more yards. But it looks like they're trying to get some of the starters a little bit more rest here with these seconds, and then the minute between the quarters as Losing and Feldhaus came in. But Feldhaus made a nice run. The Bombers are just going to let this baby click off as they are tenuously clinging to a 14-10 lead.
I'll tell you though, Dave, these last 2 plays, this offensive line looks like they're ready to block now. They actually look like they're ready to move the ball down the field.
Well, looking at that offensive line, we see number 99, that's Chris Little. We see number 77, that would be Nick Byer. We see number 65, that is Scotty Rouse. Also on that line, we'll try to set the rest of the line for you. As you said, I want to go back to the point that you made, Ralph, and that point being that the St. Xavier coaches are not afraid here to pull in, you know, who they feel might be the best player in situations. And we've said this over the years. First 3 weeks, the Bombers, you know, they win a lot of games, but if you're going to beat them, historically, you beat them in those first 3 weeks. And then they do change these guys to where they go.
That's right. Yeah, typically, you know, the theory has been in years past that you're either an offensive player or a defensive player, and it didn't really matter how good you were. You were one side of the ball or the other. And it seems like the last couple years, this coaching staff has decided if they've got a good ball player, a total athlete, then they'll put him in on both sides of the ball. They'll work him a little.
In certain situations.
Sure.
And I think that came true for us with the young man from Cleveland St. Ignatius who played both defensive line and offensive line, and he played the whole game, and he didn't lose a step.
Right.
I mean, he was a beast. And I think when the Bombers saw that, you know, they said, hey, maybe we can use people both ways. Rocky Boyman was good at that, as were a number of athletes. St. Xavier sticking with the same backfield, and Feldhaus again going to get the lead here. So
Feldhaus on the carry.
Maybe they're trying to shake things up on the sidelines, because I thought Elliott Walker was having a good first half, or perhaps Elliott got hurt, but Feldhaus doing a good job in here.
He's doing an excellent job running the ball. And again, your offensive line, you've got Nick Veer, Scott Rouse, Brad Ralph, Joe Hauser, and Chris Little. That's your interior line, and you've got Tommy Nuri playing tight end. I think right now this is probably the best line they've had in.
Covcath coming on the blitz, but Feldhaus broke 3 tackles trying to break 4. He gets up to the 42-yard line. That is a 15-yard run for Matt Feldhaus. I thought for sure they were going to catch him behind the line of scrimmage. Now Matt checks in at a whopping 5'7", 150, and I'll tell you, he made these guys miss. He just doesn't want to go down.
I mean, he breaks 1 tackle there. As we watch the replay, 2 tackles, 3 tackles, and then number 7 just keeps holding and holding and holding and just can't bring him down.
That was and Myers almost got that ball out of here.
And that is Myers, who, again, is probably one of the better athletes on his Covcath team.
And he's playing both ways, so you see that. Fake to Feldhaus. Oh, he's got his man open deep. Oh! And he takes it out to the sideline, and Gibbler makes the good catch.
Tommy Nuri.
Tommy Nuri, number 99, makes the good catch there. But let's see if we see this come up here. Kelvin Brown comes wide open about 1 second after he makes this pass because his man slipped.
And we can't see it on the replay.
It's out here, and his man, he turned him around and he slipped. But a pickup of 8 yards on the play, 2nd and 2, and Schoenhoff doesn't like what he sees, so he's going to take a timeout with 10:52 remaining. We'll have to remember that as the Bombers are down to 2. Well, this is the best drive they've had so far on the night. Actually, one of the few drives.
Yeah, it is. And again, looking at the offensive line, and I've been watching a couple of them the last couple plays, and this line seems to really feel good together. I mean, it's one of those things you can tell when the 5 inside linemen feel good together. There's just a way they move everybody, and this line is doing that right now. They're taking 3 guys a whole zone at a time and moving them.
Well, one of the other things we talked about, and we said that if the Bombers could get a 2-score lead, that would put them in a very, very favorable position, because we talked early in the game about the fact that when we get into the 4th quarter, Covcath has a lot of kids playing both ways, and that does tend to wear you down a little bit.
It does. They have a smaller squad, and they have, again, we talk about guys playing offense and defense going both ways. For a team like St. X, some of the other GCL teams, the bigger teams like Coleraine, they'll do it, but they do it in spot situations, where Covington Catholic sometimes is forced to have somebody play the whole game both ways. And by the 4th quarter, it's just, it takes a lot out of you.
Exactly. And we've seen some great matchups here. The Roger Bacon Spartans pulling the big upset of the Princeton Vikings. Elder just grinding it out and beating Winton Woods. And Tom Grippa in his return to the LaSalle Lancers. A big win for Tom Grippa and the Lancers over the Hamilton Big Blue. But Hamilton hung in that ball. We got a whistle on deep on the far sidelines. This may be an illegal formation. But the Big Blue hanging in there with all the swirling things going around their team, and Grippa getting his first victory at LaSalle. And then probably the surprise, Lebanon just routing Harrison. I thought that was pretty much a toss-up game. I think a lot of people in the media and in the print talking about that. And then Coleraine looking super impressive against Boone County. The Anderson Redskins, hey, what Kerry Combs said at the beginning of the year, this is Anderson's finest team perhaps since 1991. They look good, and right now this is the kind of football we thought St. Xavier could play. Now can they finish a drive off to show it? Covcath showing why they regularly make it to the finals in Covington. Now there's a great pass as Schoenhoff held on to that one, and number 86 for the Bombers, Scotty Lenz, takes it all the way down to the 35-yard line. That'll be about a 14-yard pickup and another St. Xavier first down. And Ralph, so far on this drive, the Bombers have gone from their own 15-yard line to about the 37 of Covington Catholic. More importantly, they've run off about 2 minutes off the 3rd quarter clock, and they're heading down to the 10-minute mark remaining here.
That replay really shows what people say about Robbie Schoenhoff and his arm. He put that ball right in there to Lenz. It was a great catch, but what a perfect throw off 1 foot as he was rolling.
Feldhaus gets a block, sneaks to the outside, cuts it back in, and he'll get down to about the 30-yard line. So Matt Feldhaus definitely making the most of his plays here. Nice quick first step. He's explosive out of that backfield.
He is. And again, Dave, there was a play by Spider Thomas. He got in front of one of the would-be tacklers enough to give Feldhaus another 5 yards. And Spider I'm not sure what his size is listed at. Let's see. They have Spider Thomas listed at 5'6", 150.
I think they gave him a few inches.
I think they gave him 3 inches, and I think they gave him 30 pounds, but I'm just guessing.
Nice pitch to Walker. He's got one man to beat, and he's got room on the sidelines.
What a
Good
move.
juke.
What a move.
Then he cuts inside and pulls it over the 10-yard line. So Elliott Walker, who had to sit a while perhaps to get his legs back underneath him, picks up a 20-yard run and another Bomber first down. And now this would be an impressive drive.
It would be.
End of the third quarter if they can punch it in here.
And Dave, on this replay, as you see Elliott Walker, he takes the pitch on the option, and he comes down. He makes a double-step move there.
Wow.
Just freezes. And again, Spider Thomas right there is just in the way, and the defender can't get back to make a tackle. It's an extra 5 yards because he just played hard football.
Elliott with the great two-step there, as you said. Feldhaus back in the backfield. Bombers with a split field. Feldhaus going to run right into the blitz area. Oh, it bounces off. Still going. Protect the ball now, though. Hold that ball. He bounced off, went forward, and then, I think he's going to pick up maybe 2 yards on the play to the 7, where it'll be 2nd and goal from the 7. The Bombers would certainly love a touchdown here. If not, you got to think they're going to try to keep it in the center of the field to help out field goal kicker James Casey. Ryan Casey, I mean. Play coming in from the sidelines here. Schoenhoff has got Scotty Linz and Keith Thomas to the left. He's got Kelvin Brown in the slot. And it looks like Jeff Lindeman on the far outside. Fake handoff, and Schoenhoff's got a touchdown. What a play by Robbie Schoenhoff. Matt Feldhaus did a great job selling the fake, and Schoenhoff showed a little quick step there himself. And now the Bombers take a 20-10 lead, and Casey comes on for the extra point.
On
Watch
the replay,
this fake here.
It's a beautiful fake, and Robbie just goes off the left tackle. The line had taken everybody right. He faked the ball and went left tackle. Just one quick big step, and he was in.
You know what the interesting thing is, too? Robbie's a junior, and he stepped up last year huge in varsity basketball as a sophomore as Casey converts. But what he did on the sidelines before the Bombers came out and getting the Bombers around him, and you could see him pointing fingers at people, he's trying to tell them that this is his ball club. Up front, though, you know, we've talked about Scotty Rouse and Chris Little, and boy, you just don't find finer leaders in the senior class than guys like Scott Rouse and Chris Little. People rally around those two young men. That's Steve Uphouse in the back. So one of the things that may have been missing from last year's team, you know, senior leadership that united everyone and kept them together, is certainly one of the things that I think this coaching staff would say is one of their strengths. And being down 10-7 at halftime, now being up 21-10 against a very good Covington Catholic team. If they can hang on here, this will be a big win for the Bombers. It doesn't get any easier next week.
No, not at all. Not to travel down to Ryle and to play. That's just going to be a tough time for the Bombers.
And what a two-game series people can get down there, with Elder taking on Indianapolis Warren Central, and then St. Xavier taking on Louisville Trinity. And I just think that's going to be a great afternoon down at Ryle. Nice kick here for the Bombers, and they kicked it away from Randy Myers that time, and that may have been a good thing, as Covington Catholic tries to bring it up the middle, and that's not going to work. So they kicked it away from Myers and kicked it to number 34, Mike Mitchell, and he got it back to the 18-yard line. And let's see what's going to happen here. Well, Kyle Callahan's going to come back out in the second half. Now, Gronick seemed to be wearing some kind of a little bit of a brace on his one arm, Ralph, and we did see, as you pointed out earlier on, that he took a big hit and was holding that arm and looking inside. So I don't know if he's injured or if they're just doing something different here, but I thought maybe they were going to rotate. Callahan on the roll. Nice pitch, but Quinn's out there.
Quinn is right there for the tackle.
He takes down Derek Roding.
Now this looks to be the original defense that was out in the first half. We have Combest, Muldoon, and Ebner interior, and then Quinn is out on the edge.
Scheit in the middle. J.T. Emming has also checked in for the Bombers. And then we have Hurley, Mahoney. Or no, we have Hurley, Lenz,
Cargyle,
and it looks like an Uphouse.
Well, we brought 2 off the edge that time.
Lenz just missed him there. Nice block to free Callahan. He's going to fire on the sidelines, and the ball is dropped.
Wow.
As Bobby Mahoney was covering there, number 41, Jordan Pauly. Now, Callahan showed some good movement there. Pauly couldn't hold on to it. Lenz really comes here, as you'll see this. Watch, Callahan's going to roll. Lenz is going to try to grab him, just can't hang on. And then he's going to step up and fire a beautiful shot right on the sideline. And unfortunately, Pauly just can't hold on as he drops that pass there. And that's going to make it about 3rd and 9. And with 7:31 remaining, the Colonels need to do some scoring here quickly and need that ball back.
The Colonels need to make something happen the way the St. X Bombers offense went before. Oh, what a hit on a quarterback.
Cargyle came right on him, and Lenz held his coverage on the far sideline against Derek Roding and almost picked that one off. So good job on both parts as Cargyle came, and then Chad Lenz finished it off, but Callahan got right up. He took quite a shot.
I don't know if Callahan was, or Cargyle was playing the safety or the corner, but he came in and he hit Callahan as he threw the ball. Wow. And that was almost intercepted.
Lenz did a good job to hold position. Roding did a good job coming over the top to knock that ball away. So number 11, Drew Fahey, will be in to punt. He's had a good day so far. Bombers coming.
That's a block.
Chad Lenz on the block. St. Xavier is going to fall on it on the 9-yard line.
What a good play by Chad Lenz. He came right up the middle. Came right at the ball.
So the 5'8", 160-pound senior gets a little help from his interior lineman. He came right up. Fahey almost kicked it right into him. The good thing about Lenz is he didn't back off of the play. I mean, he just did a good job there, and then the Bombers fall on it. And this could be the death blow right here if St. X can take it in.
Chad Lenz really came through on that one. There was a small hole on that right side, and he just came right through.
Penalty flag on the play. Did St. X line up offside again? Offside Bombers. And it looks like it's being whistled on number 89, Kyle Gibler again. Will make it 1st and goal from the 15-yard line. St. Xavier up by 11 points here. A touchdown would pretty much salt it away. A field goal would make it. Covington Catholic having to score 2 touchdowns and points just to tie the game. Brown coming our way.
Kelvin Brown just came in.
Thomas. Lenz on the far sideline. Hand off to Feldhaus. Feldhaus going to bowl ahead, and Feldhaus will get down to about the 12-yard line. It's kind of interesting. The Bombers rotate both fullback and halfback as Losing came in with Feldhaus, and Fisher generally was in there, I think, with Elliott Walker. So a gain of about 3, make it 2nd and about 12.
And again, we talked about it before. We have Phil Muldoon in on the offensive line again.
Jeff Lindeman going to come out here to our right. Inside of him is Scotty Lenz. He had the great touchdown reception. Feldhaus lining up right next to Robbie Schoenhoff, and Kelvin Brown's got single coverage. Fake to Feldhaus. Oh, he's going to loft it into the air, and it's intercepted. Just didn't get it up high enough as it was picked off by number 34, Mike Mitchell. And just when things looked really bad, that's about the worst thing the Bombers could actually do, take themselves even out of the field goal range. So Schoenhoff lofted it, but just not far enough. Mike Mitchell really goes up to get this one here. This is a great play. Look at Mitchell just battle for position. And Mitchell out-battled Jeff Lindeman. He wanted the ball more as Lindeman let himself get pushed out of the way there. And Mitchell doing a great job on the interception. So the Colonels have new life. 21-10, 6:32. Plenty of time left for them to score. And
Looks like an equipment. It's like the referees blew an equipment timeout real quick there. They didn't like something they saw on one of the uniforms.
Handoff underneath. That's good to see that young man back in the game. Number 28, Wesley Collins, has returned to action. He took the big hit earlier on, and Collins taken down on the play there as he gets back in, and that's certainly good for Cov Cath to see that happen. Combest and Scheidt combining on the stop, make it 2nd and 7.
It's good to see Collins back in and running the ball, and he's running the ball hard. That's you feel good after you see somebody down on the field laying down like that.
Fortunately, it worked out well for him. It looked really bad at first. Callahan back. Callahan steps up. He's got a man on the outside. Did he loft it enough? Did he get them both down? No, he didn't. He got one foot down, but not the other one. But I got to give that young man a lot of credit as Mahoney went over there. And I'll tell you, Bobby Mahoney's having a rough night tonight. Or maybe he caused the ball to be thrown that high. But number 86, Brett Sutton. Let's watch this replay here. Look at his footwork. Great throw here by Callahan. It's right on the mark. And Sutton going to reach out, got one down, couldn't get the other.
And as you said, he just, it was a great throw. It was a great pattern. He actually had Mahoney beat by a step or two.
But Mahoney's tall enough that you have to loft it. Callahan looking across the middle, pressure now, going to be chased to the outside, going to throw back across the middle, and that's a hard throw for a high school quarterback to make. Rolling right and having to throw back across left. Good defensive pressure there by number 46, Drew Quinn. So to be 4th and about 7, this St. Xavier defense has played a heck of a second half.
They have. You could really tell that they've made some adjustments at halftime. It looks to me like the interior linemen are moving a little quicker. They're bringing more pressure off the outside, and it looks like they talked to the defensive backs and kind of pointed out the different patterns that they were going to see again.
Last time the Colonels let Linz sneak in. Linz looking, oh, there's.
I'll tell you what, it looks like everybody on that line moves before the snap.
Chad Linz moves to the front, and then lots of Colonels' heads come up, but the punt's going to come out of bounds at the St. Xavier 42-yard line. And it looked like that time Fahey really didn't want to look into the possibility of a return. So he just quickly punted that one out of bounds. And the Bombers will take over 1st and 10 on their own 42 with 5:36. I think the trick here, Ralph, is move that ball, use some of the clock, and if an opportunity presents itself where they see something they like for a strike, go for it.
Now I think this offensive line right here is going to move the ball down the field.
Walker in the backfield. Schoenhoff calling out signals. Schoenhoff looking. He'll cut it up. Nice call by Robbie there as they all went out for Elliott Walker. And that pile's going to get pushed forward to about the 46-yard line. And so St. Xavier will pick up about 4 yards on the play. We'll look at 2nd down and 6 to go.
And again, that's all St. X wants to do right now. If they can get 4 yards a carry, if they can keep the clock moving with an 11-point lead, that's all they want to do.
Kelvin Brown split towards us. Linz, Thomas on the top part of the screen, and Elliott Walker is the single running back. Hand off to Walker. He breaks one tackle, breaks two. He's going to be close to the 1st down yardage, and he second effort, Bull ahead there. I'll tell you, the backfield for the Bombers tonight, we were wondering who was going to carry the ball, and Matt Feldhaus and Elliott Walker have done the job. I think we're going to get a measurement here, Ralph. But they have done the job tonight going behind that big line. It's finally starting to assert itself.
They are. They're starting to come into their own, and that's what they need. This is an experienced line with young running backs and a young quarterback. So it's going to take a little for them to get together.
I think they just had the nose edge over there, so the Bombers will pick up the 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10. Hey, didn't ask you what do you think about the new uniforms for the Bombers this year?
I like the new uniforms. I like the look.
When I heard they were going with the new uni, I was hoping they never changed that X on the helmet, because that's just classic, and I think everybody sees it as one of those kind of things that you just never want to change, like the Texas T or the Tennessee T or the big N and the Nebraska. That big X out there is just something that people love to see.
I think you always see an X on a helmet. I do like the new uniform, so I know the guys like the new look. They've got the shorter sleeves, the tighter sleeves, with the nice little strip across the sleeve and the neck. So
some of the guys were telling me they feel like they're a little cooler when they play in them too. And in this kind of first couple weeks of the season, that's a good thing to have. 4:01 remaining in the game. St. Xavier trying to eat up as much of the clock as they can here on these plays. They lost 2 on that last one. Schoenhoff was not able to pitch to Walker there, and he's going to lose about 3 more. That'll take it back to the 48-yard line, and one of the Bombers is down, and I believe that's number 69, Chris Little.
Well, Mike Donahue got the tackle on that play, but they really defensed the option great that time.
Let's see if we can see what happens here with Little. Not sure we can follow it. Yeah, that is Chris Little, number 69, who's down on the field. It just looked like as the play was continuing, Ralph, that they fell on the back part of his leg, and sort of similar to what happened to the running back for the Colonels.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking at his
Collins.
ankle right now. Like maybe he may have twisted his ankle back. From up here, it's hard to tell. It looks like they're looking at the ankle, but he's up on it, so that's a good sign. He's walking off the field.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, must have just had him fall on it a little too tough. Well, you got 3rd and 14. If you run the ball, you keep the clock running, but it's difficult to pick up 14 yards. The little delay cutback play has been working, but would they put the ball up here or not?
I think you have to. I think
they
you
may. I mean,
you
there's
have to
still
think
plenty
about
of time
putting it
left.
up.
You have to think about getting yardage.
Yeah, you want to go for the first down. I think you need to think about putting it in there.
Schoenhoff going to drop back, trips across the middle. He's got a man coming open. Oh, picked off.
That's not
as it
what
went
they were
over his
looking
head.
for.
That's definitely not what they wanted. As Schoenhoff's going to have to make the tackle, and he does. Robbie Schoenhoff's pass was picked off by number 7, Randy Myers, who brings it all the way back to the Bombers' 34-yard line, and then Schoenhoff makes a great tackle, but all of a sudden what could have been a sleepy ending to the game is now going to turn into a nail-biter as the Colonels have the ball on the Bombers' 39. I think what happens here as Schoenhoff lets this ball go is that number 86 trips a little bit, Scotty Lenz, and then where he trips was where the ball was, and that allowed Randy Myers to get the interception. Callahan going to run straight ahead, and the St. Xavier line closes in as that clock keeps running.
And at this point, the St. X defense and the coaches, they'll let the clock run. They'll let them run the ball a little bit.
Yeah, if they're going to pick up 3 and 4 yards, they're going to let that happen, and they're not going to worry about that. They just can't give up the big 30-yard quick strike, and then they're going to have to get ready to defend that onside kick. Collins in the backfield. Man in the slot.
Fumble on the snap.
Callahan picks it up. Callahan fires down the middle. Great catch. Touchdown. So a play that looked like it was just about going to fall apart from the beginning turns into a great score for Jeff Dries from Kyle Callahan. So Callahan fumbled the snap. The Bombers came right up into his face. And then what ended up happening was the Colonels, I can't believe they're not going for 2 points here. It's 21-16. And I thought for sure they'd go for 2. If not, they're going to call a timeout and they're going to call a 2-point play. There's no doubt about that.
I'm not sure what happened, but number 25 for the Bomber, Ryan Schmitz, he was just turned around. He almost did a 360.
Here we see it again. Collins fumbles, and then you're going to see him get pressured right there from Lenz, who was coming. The pass comes up, And number 25, as you said, Ryan Schmitz, if he wouldn't have fallen down, would have intercepted it. But by falling down, he allowed the ball to roll right into the hands of the Covington Catholic receiver, Jeff Dries. So Schmidt got his feet tangled up, and I was very surprised that the Colonels went out for a 1-point play there. And finally, they called a timeout because they're down 5, and they need 2 to use that strong leg of
That's right.
Michael
Whether you're down
Aladalia.
4 points or 5 points, it doesn't matter. So you might as well go for 2 and take it to the 3-point mark where a field goal at least ties the game.
Now they've got it set up. Derek Roding is in the slot, and outside of him is number 82. That's Jeff Dries. And outside him is number 86. That's Brett Sutton. Number 16 on this sideline is Drew Ellison, and you got to figure they're coming somewhere. The Bombers coming with the
Little
blitz.
pressure.
And a great
Beautiful
pressure tackle
play.
there.
Beautiful play.
Big hit on the play by number 33 for the Bombers, Luke Fisher. Callahan just didn't have a chance.
No, Luke came in. He was almost untouched. He was a man on a mission on that play. You can see Luke just come straight, and he wasn't about to let Callahan get rid of the ball.
Great wrapping tackle. Now I guess you're going to see the hands unit up front because you got to expect the onside kick here. And funny things have happened on St. Xavier onside kicks.
Yeah, we see some.
We seem to outthink ourselves. You know, we either don't fall on the ball, or we let the ball fall and let the other team fall on it, or we call a fair catch and don't catch it. I mean, we've done lots of funny things over the years on these.
Yeah, it seems to always be an adventure with the St. X specialty teams on an onside kick.
So 2:51 remaining. The Bombers were on the 10-yard line when they got penalized 5 yards for being offside, which moved them back to the 15. An interception gave Covington Catholic the ball back. The Colonels couldn't do very much with it, but on the next series, Robbie Schoenhoff was intercepted again by number 7, Randy Myers, who made a great return to the 30-yard line. And then Kyle Callahan with the strike. Well, this kick's going to come long, and let's see if it just let it go into the end zone, and it does. And so St. Xavier will start 1st and 10 on their 20-yard line. 2 first downs should do it for the Bombers. 1 would really put Covington Catholic in a difficult situation as they only have 2 timeouts remaining. But now it's up to that offensive line, and it's up to the coaching staff to make some good calls here and get St. X out of trouble. As Callahan shows, he's got a great arm. Yeah, it looked like St. X Ralph may have gone up there 28-10, and all of a sudden, the 2 interceptions now could be the Achilles heel of the Bombers. Walker is back in the backfield. They're definitely going to try to protect the ball. They don't want any fumbles here. Lataro Mitchell is split wide outside. Walker going to go ahead, and the Colonels reaching to get the ball, and Walker's only going to get 2 yards, so the Colonels doing a smart thing, calling the timeout. It'll be 2nd and 8, so we're going to have to get a better play than that, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's I know that the coaching staff just wants the clock to move, but again, they've got 1 more timeout left. Covington Catholic does. We're going to need to get a good run here, probably out of, I'm guessing, Elliott Walker. If we can get it to 3rd and 2, if we can get a 6 or 7 yard run on this play here, I think that you'll see the Bombers get the first down after that.
3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 would be really good for them. On the other hand, that may have been a good call because the last 2 plays the Bombers called and the ending in interception. So, you know, it might have been a good thing there to calm things down just a little bit and give the offense a chance to catch their breath. Tell you, none of this crowd's leaving now. It looked like for a while people were ready to get up and walk out, and all of a sudden that interception and the pass there where Ryan Schmitz fell down just allowed Covington Catholic to get right back into this game. And we've said it all night, these guys don't go away.
No, they don't.
It just seems like you've got them on the ropes and you're ready to knock them out, and then boy, they strike and you're on the ropes.
As we talked in the beginning of the 4th quarter, that this Covington Catholic team doesn't have a lot of people and they might be getting tired, but I'll tell you, it doesn't look like it right now with 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the game.
This is gut check time for the Bombers. Feldhaus in the backfield. Schoenhoff looking. Nice pitch by Robbie Schoenhoff. Feldhaus, just stay in bounds. Don't run out of. Oh.
Now that's
a first down for the Bombers,
mistake.
but that's a very bad mistake by a young running back.
Mistake.
So Matt Feldhaus, the junior running back, he clearly had the first down. He went from the 21-yard line all the way out to the 40-yard line, so a 19-yard pickup, and he could have just fallen down right there. I mean, to run out of bounds to gain 1 yard, it's much more important to keep that clock running.
Yeah, that's something the coaching staff will talk to him about first thing tomorrow when they go to watch films.
Tell you what, this young man is letting Coach Rasso know he wants a lot of playing time. He's had a good first step on some runs. Feldhaus trying to get outside here. He's going to stay inside. Feldhaus, now that time he went down. Smart move. So
I think the coaches must have yelled from the sideline after the last play.
That's what you call a young man who learns quickly, as he slid down on the 42-yard line. He only had 2 yards on the play, but enough to move the Bombers. 2nd down and 9, and now Covcath out of timeout. So if St. X can move the ball here, Ralph, for one more first down, that should put it away. If not, if they block well on the punt, Covington Catholic's going to have a long way to go with not too much clock. So just like we said last time, if we could get 6 yards, we got 19 yards again here. If they can pick up 5 or 6 yards and make it a reasonable 3rd down run, you know, they put themselves in good position. If not, Covington Catholic has done a good job. I mean, by Feldhaus not going out of bounds, we're at 221 rather than being in the 150s right now.
That's right. I thought that was just an interesting play in that last one, because it really looked like Feldhaus was going to go out of bounds again, and it's like all of a sudden you could almost read from up here, you could almost read his eyes saying, oh no, I got to get down, because he dove very quickly to get on that ground.
Smart move on his part. and the Colonels quickly called timeout, so Kelvin Brown's going to come outside here. Scott Lynn's going to be on the outside, so Scotty Lynn's Kelvin Brown in to receive for the Bombers, as is number 28, Lataro Mitchell. You know, Covcath can't worry about just Feldhaus in the backfield either, because these guys can catch the ball, and St. X could plop a quick one, and this game could be over like that. Feldhaus going to run it up the middle, get to about the 44-yard line, and that's going to make it 3rd and a long 6. But again, more importantly, that clock is running.
And I think at this point, although I'm the one who said they should have passed the last time, and we saw the interception over the middle that led to the touchdown, I think this time you have to think about running the ball. The clock's down to a minute 53, 52. By the time you run this play, the next play starts, you punt it, you're going to be under a minute probably.
Right. Or you're going to be not very much time left on top of that. So right. Robbie's going to take all the time he can off of this clock. He's going to hand it to Feldhaus, who's going to go straight ahead, and he's going to go down on the 45-yard line. So as you said, it's 1:30. The Bombers will take the full 25 seconds. I don't think they'll even worry about the 5-yard penalty if it gets assessed to them for a delay of game. And basically, if I'm Sean Morris punting right here, I just angle the ball out of bounds. I do not let Randy Myers run 75 yards to beat me. I make them put it, you know, in the hands of their quarterback and let the defense do the job, not necessarily the special team here. So I'm going to be surprised if he kicks it at him. Well, he's going to kick it right at him, and Myers is going to take the fair catch on the 13-yard line. I really thought he was going to angle that sucker out of bounds.
I thought he would have kicked it out at about 25
he got a nice,
or 30.
got a nice kick there, though.
Got it up in the air.
59 seconds remaining in this game. The trick here for the Bombers is to keep the Colonels in bounds and keep that clock running.
And for the defensive backs, they must keep the receivers in front of them. You can't let a receiver behind you.
We've seen this defense play superbly for most of this second half. They had the one slip that cost them a touchdown, and I do think it was a slip. I've got to see if they're still going to keep bringing men or if they're only going to bring 3. Well, he's bringing 4 here. Almost picked off, but a nice reception on the sidelines, and he'll get out of bounds on the 32-yard line. So Cargile went for the interception, got a hand on it, but 1st and 10 Colonels, and that play took 7 seconds, and they gain about 11 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line.
And I saw Coach Rasso on the sideline talk to Jeff Cargile, and I think what he told him was, Jeff, don't go for the interception. Let him catch the ball. tackle them and let the clock run.
Covcath fans giving it all they got. St. Xavier only sending 4. Callahan's got a man open on the sidelines, out of bounds, incomplete. Mahoney did a good job using the sidelines there as Brett Sutton. Brett Sutton's run some nice routes down that sideline. Mahoney did a good job pushing him out, and that play took 7 seconds. So we're down to 46 seconds left to go in the game, and it's 2nd and 10.
Mahoney did an excellent job that time. Sutton has been very good on the sideline, and he's actually been beating Mahoney most of the time, so that was an excellent defense.
You gotta love this. Covcath with 5 receivers coming out. St. X not sure they can blitz anybody. Oh, with all those guys coming through. That was a pass there for Sutton. He tipped it up in the air, and St. Xavier's eyes lit up. It's going to be 3rd and 10 here, and it looks like St. X is putting a lot of hands people into this lineup. Kind of like to see a safety blitz.
Yeah. Well, it almost looks like St. X is playing their nickel package. I mean, it looked for a minute like they had one-on-one coverage, and I'm not sure. Well, here's with double safeties.
Scotty Lenz is checked into the lineup for coverage. Callahan over the middle, tipped again. The Bombers went for the interception, and Covcath we have a 1st down, and they'll stop that clock on the St. Xavier 40-yard line. So the Colonels, 21-16 is the score here. Mahoney, or correction, 91 checking back in is J.T. Emig. I thought St. Xavier might change up a little bit, but this nickel package. And Covcath spikes the ball. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 40-yard line with 33 seconds left to go. Oh, my heart doesn't need this one, Ralph.
Wow, I'll tell you, this is not what we were hoping to see right now.
No. We talked about if St. Xavier could get a field goal on the interception that was made on the lofted pass in the end zone, that would force the Colonels to score twice and mark. So the St. Xavier fans trying to match the spirit of the Covcath fans, and this place is rocking. Callahan looking to go. Callahan almost tackled. Callahan going to fire it up, and great defensive play there by number 22, Thomas Hurley. Hurley kept his man in front of him and then went for the interception, but made sure the man couldn't get it. And it's going to be 3rd and 10 from the 40-yard line. 27 seconds left to go.
So St. X has got in what they call their speed men right now. They've got
Uphouse,
they've got
Cargile, Lenz, Hurley,
Emmings
Mahoney
in there. They've got Chris Little back in and one of the interior linemen.
That's good to see him after he was injured coming back in.
Just
good rush by the Bombers here. Oh! Thomas Hurley made a nice play on that ball there as he came and knocked it down to make it 4th and 10. Good help also from Steve Uphouse coming over. Well, you got 22 seconds left to go. Wow, that was the
game-ending interception right there. If Hurley keeps that in his hands.
I'm just wondering how they were able to run down the field 25 yards and only lose 4 seconds. Fast runners, I guess.
Very, very fast.
Let's see when this clock starts
4th
here.
down. Here we go. A little pressure.
Oh, a little pressure by Quinn. Callahan's going to throw it up. Cargile is beat. Cargile knocks it down.
Wow.
Pass falls.
Incomplete. Pass.
The Bombers will take over. Jeff Cargile tried to knock it down, and he almost knocked it right into the hands of number 82, Jeff Dries. Okay, let's just get one snap and fall on the ball, okay?
It looked like the Schmitz play down at the end zone right there. We saw Cargile turn backwards, falling down, touching the ball as the receiver was ready to get it out of his hands.
He tipped it just enough. I'll tell you what. Fortunately, heading back there was Mahoney, who may have been able to help out a little bit, but as you said, it was kind of reminiscent of the fall down. Now, let's just get a good snap and get out of here with a 21-16 hard-fought victory. You got to give both these teams credit. This Covington Catholic Colonel team has come to play a very, very fine St. Xavier football team. And I'll tell you what, I really thought the Bombers had dominated action here in the second half, but they made 2 big mistakes near the end that almost cost them this football game. And Covcath did everything they could, Ralph, to come back and win it. That's my thoughts on the game. What about yours?
Same thing, Dave. I thought St. X came out in the second half and really, really stepped up to the plate. It looked like the beginning of the fourth quarter they were going to dominate, and this Covcath team just came back and said, oh, no, we're going to take you to the end.
So head coach Steve Rasso meets with head coach Lynn Ray and the coaching staff of the Covington Catholic Colonels. You can tell by the way the guys are shaking hands that they've known that this has been a war, and it's great respect that goes on between these two teams to make this happen. Well, for Waycross Community Media, what a great start to the football season. An exciting, nail-biting finish as the Bombers pull off a 21-16 victory here at the University of Cincinnati. I'd like to thank you for watching tonight's broadcast and remind you that we'll be heading over to Ryle next week for the Ryle Classic, where the Bombers will take on an equally impressive Louisville Trinity Ball Club. If you like what you see, give us a call, 825-2429. And if you want to work on a future broadcast, we'd be glad to work with you. For Ralph Nardini, I'm Dave Eby. Thanks and good night.
This has been a production of Waycross Community Media, the Access Partnership of Forest Park, Green Hills, and Springfield Township. Opinions expressed are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily represent the Community Programming Board, volunteers and staff of the Waycross Media Center, the community governments, or the cable company. If you have questions regarding this program, or if you would like to participate in the activities of Waycross, call 825-2429. Or write Waycross Community Media, 2086 Waycross Road, Forest Park, Ohio, 45240.